Oh. Hello. Here. I just have to take my tablets because my thing is going blah, 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 in the microphone. But anyway, hello. We are here. We have decided on a game. So, you know, that is great. Progress is being made. So, yes. Solace State. I don't know if that's a pun on solid state, because it's about biohacking, biotech revolution. But it's got cool art. This one came out on the 14th of September last year, 2023. It's developed and published by Vivid Foundry. It's a sort of a visual novel with multiple branching choices and friendships and stuff. Let me tell you a little bit more about the game. Vivid Foundry are Canadian. I know that. It's out on PC and Xbox. It's on Xbox at £16.74 or £16.74 or $19.99. And it has 38 achievements. Not many people have played this one. No one's completed it yet. So I'm not sure. I think it's possibly just because not enough people have played it. Nothing's flagged. Yeah. No one's completed it yet, which means I still have a chance. I don't know if there's if it's unskippable. I don't know what it is. Anyway, we're going to play it today. This is an Ideate Xbox game, so thank you, Ideate Xbox, and let me tell you a bit about the game. So, it is a drama of friendship, civic duty, and the biotech revolution. We play as Chloe, a gifted hacker who's searching for her missing friend Rebecca, while a biotech crackdown embroils the city of Abraxa. As the political climate heats up and the corporate-sponsored militia threaten lives in unusually cruel ways, Chloe's faced with leveraging her friendships and relationships to help her navigate unrest, protect the community she cares about, and heal herself in the process. We get to navigate authentic friendship, romance, and hope. Friendship can be formed through all sorts of circumstances, whether it be through tragedy or making impactful change. Get to know this colourful, queer and fashionable group of characters as you navigate complex societal issues, political intrigue together. In the midst of escalating tensions, will romance bloom, or will you choose to keep the one you've gotten close to as a friend and confidant? Do you find yourself with the wholesome local boy Torrent, the experienced activist Sully, or the old flame Aiden? Investigate corruption and influence change. We can utilise the power of social hacking to understand the social and structural dynamics affecting violent biotech divisions at large and locally. Your choices in how you dive deep into personal relationships, build rapport with storied communities, and exert your moral influence on arbitrary militarization will bring about more or less human rights in the world. Wow, this is a big ask. What is activism and responsible moral truth? Whatever you choose. Chloe's personal challenges intersect with her activism. Her hacking abilities allow her to take on another person's identification and find encrypted data at the top of someone's thoughts. With such abilities, what does it mean to exist freely? What does it mean to share your truth responsibly? In a world where more and more folks are having their plans for the future squeezed out, will Chloe's actions incite violent backlash or bloom into hope? Blimey! So, you know, big ask. The art looks incredible. It really does. So, yeah. Yeah, there is not a lot of info on this game. But to check, it's a visual novel. As I said, ID at Xbox, thanks to ID at Xbox, and came out, yeah, what are we, 6 months ago. So I guess without much further ado, we should, you know, have a look. We do have an RTDL in this one. The RTDL is the capable canvasser achievement. We need to make strides at our technique. I do not know how far through, you know, this goes. So the person, I think they've done at least one playthrough, has played like 15 hours on this. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so 21:29 on the 22nd. So they got it in about an hour. Lots of people have started this, not many people have actually like continued through it. So it is possible we could get this one today. But we'll see. There's embroiling. Hi, Dan and Milo. Yes, there is embroiling. There is lovely art. Hello. I'm feeling vaguely slightly awake. Vaguely. But this may not continue, this trend of being vaguely slightly awake. Okay, so do not quit the game while it's saving. Cool. The saving is a lovely purple spinny. It's a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual events, locales, or persons living or dead is entirely coincidental. It is not intended for young children. It includes intergenerational trauma, blood, death, and military violence. Okay. So, you have been warned. We are going to do, you know, a couple of hours. Our mileage may vary. And that's an incredibly satisfying loading thing. Okay. So, my name is behind me. There is a very, very tiny version. Okay, so obviously first thing we look is the settings. We always look in the settings. Okay, so text speed fast. Okay, hang on. I was reading those. Okay, so. Right, text speed fast. Enable character highlights. Highlight in purple. We don't want the dyslexia font. Doesn't work for me. Enable chromic aberration. Blur distortion, film grain. Okay, we'll allow them, but we know we can. Nice dad joke, Dan. We know we can turn them off if we need to, but I want to sort of. It's one of those. I want to see it. Let's just turn the music down a little bit. I want to see what it does first. And then we are going to look at the how to play. Okay, so we've got hover, history, codex, Chloe's thoughts, deselect, proceed, tooltips. Hacking. You enter a hack by selecting the hack character name icon near a character when the button appears. Hack data being read in any order. You can read all of them before you make a choice using the hack action buttons. Okay, you may not be able to act on all of the choices, so prioritize them. Once you take an action, a character will react. Some might even talk among themselves. Hacking is intuitive for Chloe. In terms of lore, Chloe's hacks take milliseconds for what would take others minutes to sift through. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So those are controls. Ah! Okay, there's more. How to play. Progress with the A button if there are highlighted words in dialogue or diegetic text. I believe I did a whole thing where I looked up diegetic interfaces. I think that's where the interface is part of the scene. Because the whole thing that, you start working in a new industry, or at least that, the industry's new, if not the, media space. And then you learn all these new words, and then you look all the new words up, and then you forget what the new words mean. So I looked up diegetic, like nearly a year ago. Use the X button to toggle tooltip view. And in tooltip view, use A to open and close the information box. Okay. Highlighted words can also be read at any time in your codex by pressing RB. The previously read narrative and choices in the scene at any time in history by pressing LB. There are 49 manual save slots. And an autosave for immediately before a hack and immediately at the start of a new game scene. Ooh, okay. So, if we make judicious use of the save slots... then we can possibly save some time. Okay, we're just gonna go new game for now. Yes, I literally just started the game, so there's no autosave to override. Yes, start new game. Orange apparently is the highlighted colour. I wiggled the stick and it unhighlighted my thing. 6 years, you see, that's diegetic text. 6 years ago. This is who we are. Listen carefully. What do you think the greatest cultural treasure of our country is? It's our moral discipline. Discipline that can guide ideological purity. And it comes from the cultivation of years of values perpetuated by lineages like ours. Our strength and righteousness welded to a harmonious society. What a load of bullshit. That ideal, not the game, but also I'm slightly in front of the subtitles, but hopefully with me reading them out you can see what's going on, because I'm actually sitting up for once, so only I feel like it's this dude is preaching. Only a select few in the world understand the sacrifice necessary for the stabilization and preservation of this country. Teaching the country what love and kinship are means being swathed in blood, as inexorable as that the most... I feel like I'm pausing in the wrong place. Teaching the country what love and kinship are means being swathed in blood, as inexorable as that the most skillful hunters rear the strongest hawklings. Whole groups of people are messy and profane. They require reform. They neither have the comprehension of greater objectives outside themselves nor order to their subjective words. We put the big picture first. We must stand as stewards to correct the course of influences defiling our country's minds, our bodies and our lands, and at this station all risks are worth taking. Oh, right, okay. So if it wasn't for Rebecca, Chloe would have been saturated with these bottomless ideologues. Rebecca, who started off as Chloe's tutor and grew to become her best friend. Okay, so history log, codex. Chloe. Pronouns she, her, age 22. Occupation, junior security analyst. Hello user, Chloe here. Icono hacker par excellence. I specialise in IDs and brute force hacking. I used to think I was the only Icono hacker there was, but apparently not. Rebecca Limbaco. Pronouns she, her, age 31. Safori's manager. My oldest friend, who knew me first as my tutor and mentor. She's a talented traditional hacker who is able to find creative solutions. If it wasn't for her, Don't know where I'd be. She moved to live in Abraxas and start her own life there 2 years ago. Okay. Okay, so we haven't got anything else yet. How to play. Maybe it's a tooltip thing. Highlighted words can be read at any time in your codex. Okay. Gotcha. Ah! Alright, so we're going to tooltip mode, which is X. Then we can do the highlighty things. Which I just read out anyway. So, anyway. The art's lovely. And... Oh, I'm in love with the background. That marbling up here is just... Mwah. So yeah, how's everyone doing? It's Thursday. I don't know why, but the week seemed to be going slower. I'm wondering if it's this new medication that I'm on. I've been sleeping more and the week seemed to be going slower, which doesn't seem to mesh for me. But I feel like I'm not blinking going from Monday to Friday like I used to. But I'm also sleeping like 8 or 9 hours a night instead of like 6 or 7. So, you know, that's weird. But, you know, we'll see. I get to increase them on Monday. That'll be interesting. Let's see if I can tolerate that. Because obviously, you know, the sleeping is fine. But at some point, gotta draw a line. But anyway, right. If it wasn't for Rebecca helping Chloe hide her secret, Chloe may have fallen in with people who would have taken advantage of her. Okay. Yeah, so this is the diegetic text. It's the text is integrated into the scenery rather than being a separate UI element. There we go. Have a little bit of game lore. Chloe is an iconohacker. A 2 in a million twist of a mathematical equation, a human with the innate ability to influence the physical and metaphysical world without biotic influences, but biotic interfaces or cybernetics. Iconohacker is an intuitive hacker, someone who doesn't need cybernetics to be able to plug into the digital world to manipulate it. Aren't supposed to exist. Jazz hands. Interesting. Oh, I like that. I really like the interface, though. The shifting scenery is a bit weird. Most people do not believe someone like her can exist. She's a theoretical possibility, a rare interface between human and digital circuitry, a myth of the biotech revolution. And now, to live with her values and secrets intact, Chloe and Rebecca are planning to flee the province to a place where they won't be persecuted for who they are and what they believe in. Okay. Hey, the moment you do this, you can't turn back. You won't ever get to talk to these people again. I feel like Chloe is possibly Scottish. Gotta have a character. Chloe's the main character. I like doing the Scottish. Yes, I know. I'm getting used to my new name already. Shh. Oh, okay. Good. You have a silencing diffuser set up. Still, be careful you don't associate it with a new identity until we're safely out of here. Okay, so a silencing diffuser is a microchip that interferes with all sound waves to turn them into indistinguishable, muffled gibberish to all listeners outside of an active circumference. It's the size of a blueberry lengthwise and can be hidden in a pocket or worn as jewellery. Sometimes I feel like muffled gibberish is all I hear from people, so maybe this thing exists. What about you? Are you sure you want to come with me? Won't I be a burden? Won't I be a burden? Hi, Leaky. This is a thought. No one but you treats me like who I actually am. I want to leave here as much as you. Rebecca's a normal self-taught hacker, but she has a mind for MacGyvering her way through situations where most people would be stumped by the unknown. Under the constant silt of fear and surveillance, Rebecca has helped Chloe organise her icono-hacking mental facilities. Facilities. I would have gone with faculties there, but anyway, so her mind and body isn't porous to the onslaught of digital electrical signals from the world over. They surmise that different Icono hackers must specialize in different abilities, not that there's much direct experimental data on the subject. Nonetheless, Chloe's Icono hacking focuses on identity. She can steal information by scraping digital content from anyone's forefront thoughts and tightly held secrets. She can also change the entirety of her identity, press her digital ID, as well as project a new perceived appearance into people's brains. Wow, this is kind of cool. This all happens within milliseconds for Chloe compared to hours and days for conventional hackers. And now comes the real test of Chloe's abilities, fleeing from this place. You know how to focus your abilities, just be decisive. Only in extenuating circumstances should you use a biohack. Aren't these considered extenuating circumstances, though? My biohack abilities to trigger someone's adrenaline, numb their nervous system, or erode their short-term memories can come in handy. How often have you trained to biohack someone versus leverage the data that you've hacked? You've barely tried different scenarios in the former, since it's invasive, coercive, dangerous. If someone can figure out it's an Icono hacker's dirty work. So unpredictable in its outcome. It'll take a lot of energy out of you, and we still need to skip town safely. But as I said, be decisive. Weigh the circumstances and consequences when you're making your decisions. Okay, I already got Daria's fake ID. It'd be like all those times that I've snuck in and out of this compound using it. The difficult part is to get information to control the guard movement at both this compound and at the train station that we need to get to. Don't worry, I've got this. I'm made to implant ideas into people's heads, aren't I? And our dear head servant Daria has scolded me so many countless times, and I'm sure I know how to mimic her as well. Excuse me, don't take out your frustration on these people, okay? Don't forget what I've taught you, and we'll be able to get where we need to go with no retaliation and with minimal impact on them. It'll be fine, I'll do fine, my friend. Running through the plan again, as Daria have set up a meeting time to talk with the interior security staff, Maislin. This has happened from time to time, so it won't arouse suspicion at all. Maislin is a figure from my childhood. He was the senior security staff member at to hack for Rab and I to escape. Yep, and we've blocked all communications with the real Daria and Maislin. Their paths won't cross. So the order of business is that I'll hack Maislin as Daria to make her disappearances out of sight and out of mind. Get what intel we need to keep us safe. Give us a false alibi. Buy us as much of a window as possible. Daria also has key access around town for errands to help us get past border checkpoints, so I'll just keep being here afterwards. It'll work. Alright, I'm ready. I'm focused. Synchronized, even. Good. Remember to breathe. I'm going to be out of sight while you do your thing. Okay, you can enter a hack by selecting hack character, read all the items, but you may not be able to act on all the choices, so prioritize them. So we can't do everything. So we're going to save to empty slot because it's the first hack, and why not? Right. Okay. So I'm guessing that's Daria, the projection that we're doing. Okay. So this is how people are controlled. Okay, so commendation for work. To Maislin Chenhout from Redacted. Mr. Chenhout, you achieved as I would expect of your role from these past 2 years. You'll be finally compensated for your efficient work. Woo! With equally efficient dispatch. As you now well know, the rebel skirmishes in North Eratalia needs to be met with no mercy. Their whole families need to be brought to heel before they stop unending the very pillars of society. To show mercy is spineless in the face of such wholesale corruption and is only going to cause this council to fester. From the people who bleat support for these leeches, we will continue to hit them with campaigns to discredit their professional worth. Let's see who is so ignorant as to support the rebels then. No doubt your recent experiences can help with this. In combination for your work, you're promoted to the interior security role at the capital's redacted home compound to serve our loyalists and their families. You are to continue to ensure high standards of security and discipline among the ranks of our staff, provided a stipend that can allow your immediate family to relocate to the city. Reply. It is this guard's honour to continue to serve you. I am overwhelmed by the generosity with which you visit upon this humble guard to be allowed to bring his brother and mother to live in this fine city. Encloses my signed letter of agreement. I look forward to everything this role might bring. Sent 12 weeks ago. Chloe's thoughts. Disgusting. This is such common vernacular among the senior ranks in the capital. This is why I want to leave, but the ID I'm wearing, Daria, is a trusted household staff because of her simpering agreeability with the senior national security staff. Should I nod along to whatever Maislin says so that it doesn't suspect me? Or should I ask a cynical question about his loyalty to his superior's ideology? But the last chance I get to snark at these kinds of people. Okay. So, guard itinerary. Shinholt has some uses to us. From him I found the real-time server access to the schedule of the interior security guards, both at this compound and at the bullet train station that Rebecca and I need to get to. I can either rewrite the data so that it's a fake schedule for all the guards involved, or swap the guards with imaginary ones. Put in a fake schedule. Within several heartbeats, Chloe pulls the schedule into her mind to wreak believable havoc on it. Chloe's falsified guard rotation neatly leaves open a 15-minute window for them to slip through and detect it by manipulating server mathematics so that the schedule change is imperceptible. Whoever said time code was difficult. Easy. At least it is under Rebecca's careful tutelage of Chloe running this code in sandbox mode earlier. Okay. Oh, more round-the-clock surveillance. Okay. So, instant message. I knew Maislin was meeting with Daria and now I've discovered why. This compound was my home for years and we're now being outfitted by interior security folks. Daria, on order by Redacted, is giving information to Maislin to build new surveillance technologies and guards towers. She's tasked to give information of everyone living here, including me and Rebecca. I'm done with this. I can either biohack him to have him forget the whole thing or relay incorrect data. Honestly, screw these people. Incorrect data. Okay. Here's the intel that our boss tells me you need. The file transfer is pretty big, isn't it? Wait. The data seems thorough enough. Oh yes, there's an entire household and its staff's information from all sorts of schedules to the AI projection of their behaviour. And the AI is precise, even for today. Let's see, well, you can read the journal entry on the children here, for example. Oh, can I? No. Right. Our household has only everything to improve on. The young upstarts need disciplining. Oh, no doubt our interior security office can provide that environment to nourish young minds. Gross. I'm so glad that I'm good at reconstructing these fake files. It's the least I can do for those I'm leaving behind. Did you wrap up? Cut your teeth. Successfully hack Maislin, the senior. Yeah, there we go. We are now blooped. Officially blooped. Yeah, no hitches. Didn't biohack anyone either. Good work. That'll help you minimize risk of you taking on too much. Yeah, see, I don't want to overload myself. Catch your breath, meet up at the rendezvous point and we'll get our fake ID sorted. Oh, it's upsetting to know I can't project more people with the fake ID thing. There's a lot of bad people here, sure, but not everyone is. I can carry 2 people at most with my icono-hacking power, and the fake ID capacity only extends to folks who I know inside out, to friends, such as Rebecca. I shouldn't dwell on it, now's not the time. Okay. You're someone else now. The social media and stats set up for you to read. Familiarise yourself with them, etc., etc. Wait. Some things are still worth remembering. Rebecca picks up some wildflowers by the wayside that are local to the outskirts of the Relta province. Flowers of fidelity and healing. Blue ones symbolise the openness to new experiences. These used to grow around mine and Rebecca's shared hometown. In the Relta province, a landlocked province whose main bid for power and relevancy is the country of Lenora is providing electricity and jails. In terms of proximity, its lowlands also border the capital's province. So yeah, this game looks really interesting. It's not one of those skip through and not read visual novels, which is probably why it is not get any completions, but also I'm really intrigued and kind of want to, you know, play lots and maybe map out my choices and things like that. But also, you know, it could be quite an investment in time. Which is okay. Also, possibly on the slightly more expensive side for a visual novel, but hey, if it's going to give, 15 plus hours of playtime, then heck, it's worth it. But yeah, no completions on this yet, so I could potentially be on my way to, a first. Another one. I have one already. But yeah. Wild flower speedwell. The flowers of fidelity and healing. And blue ones symbol the openness of new experiences. Yes. They seem to especially thrive here. Chloe knows why Rebecca picked it up. It feels meant to us to remember something besides a community so warped by despotism that it is like a snake that eats its own tail. Ouroboros. Remember where you came from, where you're going. It's okay to have something to acknowledge the past with so we could deal with the future. The yawning is the meds. Not the game. But the path forward is never easy, not for Rebecca and not for Chloe. There's the physical pain of recovering from each of their full bodies of surgery to hide their original physical attributes. It wasn't enough to change just their faces in this world that can casually scan them down to their iterant DNA. Ooh. For Chloe, at least, she mentally picks at a new trellis of bones and sinew and flesh. As someone who can swap faces as easily as masks for even childish reasons, the physical pain is a shock to her. It feels like permanence that is not registered as sharply until now. Chloe cannot keep a fake ID for both of them to keep them hidden 24/7, so for a moment she lets herself feel a blistering self-hatred for the limitations of her abilities. Her blood is thrumming, leashed in the furtive spaces of her elbows and neck. She floats in thought about the liminal spaces where they will find and rebuild themselves. They're escaping from hell, by the sounds of it. This is our ticket to a new life out of here, okay, Chloe? They're going to Vesivia, the country of boisterous countercultures and celebrity politicians, and where the challenging hands of power doesn't come with the expectation of bloodbath, broken families, and the tremors of revenge. Vesivia is a superpower republic with ample military education, housing, and retail markets known for its celebrity politicians. But their headlong flight still leaves a palpable ache in Chloe, feeling rudderless without the constancy of the culture she grew up with, bubbling in everyday gestures and the passing of seasons. She's calcified into focusing on survival as the first and every other thought in a day. Acknowledging Vesivia's culture and how it fits with her own jigsaw pieces requires a vulnerability that she does not feel like she has the luxury for, but she chose this, to lose everything but Rebecca. But Rebecca's smiling with supreme gentleness, shoulders relaxed in a way that Chloe hasn't seen for years, and Chloe thinks that all of this is really worth something. She wants to smile like that at her too. So she does. Yeah, it's okay, since you're here. I like the game style. The stretch of her own lips wakes Chloe with the start. She breaks from her light sleep, coming to grips with how she's just arriving into Abraxa. No, Abraxa is from the Zoe in the Dreamwalker Chronicles. Dreamfall Chronicles things. Yeah, that one. Dreamfall chapters. Abraxa is a harbour city with weak cultural ties but strong constitutional political ties to the Lenora motherland. Sorry. It's been over a year since I've seen you in person, Rebecca. You were there for me most of my life, first as my tutor and mentor, then as my best friend and confidant. And now, hopefully you're still here in Lenora and I can come find you. Lenora, the great nation of Nelora, authoritarian, cultured, educated, and cares about the continuation of their supremacy above all other things in life. So that was a flashback at the beginning, and now we're in the present, I think. Sorry. At 21 years of age, Chloe considers herself much more worldly and an intrepid hacker to boot, but even she can't help but gawk at the sheer scale of Abraxas' skyscrapers and dense harbourlands. Abraxa is a self-sustaining city with freewheeling market liberties and the appearance of autonomy, due largely to its distance from the seat of power of the Lenora nation. But suddenly all pretense of due process vanished as a digital smokescreen known as the Haze senses and works in tandem with a military-enforced lockdown encompassing the entire district of Zircon Hill. So the Haze is an electromagnetic interface that can shut down hubs of fibre nets. Looks like a block of synthetic fog. Zircon Hill is a district in Abraxa characterised by mid-rises scaling up the mountainside, named because of its history of ceramic and metal shops. All civilians who happen to be in the neighbourhood are cordoned off from the rest of society by military checkpoints since last week, with no supplies or digital communications passing to and from the outside world. Chloe's here because she needs answers. Rebecca's missing, and the last that she heard from her is that she's busy within the Zircon Hill neighbourhood. They've always kept in touch, even as Rebecca found a new life for herself in Abraxa, separate from Chloe, after graduation from our Techne Roundtree University in Vasivia a year ago. Techne University comprises a few privately owned universities around the world. The first campus was founded in Abraxa by the Aldrich family, in Aksan neighbourhood. The one I attended in Vasivia is more sprawling compared to the one in Abraxa. Roundtree is a province in Vasivia known for its highlands with colourful nature reserves, extreme winter sports and majestic education system. Alden and I attended the Artechni campus in this province, and it's one of the most sprawling post-secondary campuses in the world. We did in Vasivia as well. Even when Rebecca travelled to heavily surveilled sites, Chloe had still exchanged correspondence, so spruced up with their field notes. Remember emojis? Several years back, this is that, but you can also send and receive serotonin and dopamine when you broadcast a happy expression, if you have permissive settings for that sort of thing. We live in weird biochemical markets. I don't have dopamine and serotonin to spare to send with emojis. Chloe has a bubbling fear that something is wrong, despite that Rebecca is all cool, stoic gazes and nerves of steel, her mentor often doesn't practice what she preaches and tends to get involved. It's not that she's not more capable with her MacGyvering brain and her annoyingly taut muscles, but Chloe can't help but think that the timing of the lockdown and Rebecca's disappearance are more than just coincidence. To stay in the city, Chloe hopes to blend in with those experts, taking advantage of her work placement as a journalist with the media outlet Topologist to have a work visa. But now that she's on the ground, the anxiety of balancing Topologist's intel gathering while ascertaining Rebecca's safety needles at her. The local culture in Abraxa is really something else. There's always someone willing to deep dive into their philosophy and opinion about experiences. According to the digital zeitgeist right now, Abraxans everywhere outside Zircon Hill are furious. You think they'd be willing to share a lot with an outsider like me? Yeah, no doubt. There are many who are sick of the conglomerate's Nexia oppression and secrecy. Nexia is the one enforcing this armed lockdown, fraying Abraxa's hard-won liberties. Oh, this is your assignment. How did you even get to be so nosy about this, Hackham? It's an interesting assignment. I never get such interesting assignments when I was at your age, and in a city that I have a lot of memories in as well. You know, I met my sweetheart here. Such romantic vibes in the city. For example, in Fathom Piers, if you know where to look. Hackham's a senior journalist at Topologist. Chloe likes to think that it's her innate sleuthing and writing abilities that made him dote on her the most among all the juniors at the outlet. Please don't overshare. Hey, I'm leaving you in very capable hands of a local specialist and friend, aren't I? He'll give you the lay of the land that I'm no longer privy to. I'll send you a wish we were here postcard from Abraxa while you're running reports on Vasivia. That joke didn't land so well considering the military lockdown, sorry. As I was saying, my friend Torrent might be young, but he'll definitely know a few leaders who are stuck in the lockdowns as well as their relatives and friends outside. There are likely many good interview sources just through his network. Something tells me he might even have a list to keep track of the folk who are missing and likely stuck within the lockdown already. Hackham doesn't do alright, then I'm concerned for a friend who's slightly trapped by the lockdown. How should I try and probe Hackham to see how far I can trust this Torrent regarding Rebecca? Hakim, senior topologist. He's lived in Abraxa for some time, but travels the world for news reports. He's a fun, family-oriented guy. Torren, Abraxan local, an icona hacker, like her. Kind of cute. He's younger than me. Hakim vouches for him. Okay, well, it sounds like we're going to make a thing, so we're going to save. I can just ask about how Hakim knows talent. I may admit that I can know someone who's missing without naming Rebecca outright. Okay. Maybe we just save at the actual choice. Yes. Because then it just makes it easier. Let's be forthcoming. I know someone who's lived in Abraxa for over a year too, but the last time I heard from her was before the lockdown. You're concerned for her? Yeah? Obviously keep this between you two, and it's not going to affect my work. That's right, you can't let it affect your work. But you wouldn't be the first journalist or the last journalist to cover the front lines of an embroilment that you care about. Obviously don't draw attention to yourself because political situations are never about you, but it doesn't hurt for you to ask around privately. You think reaching out to Torrent is still a good first step? Yeah, he'll know the talk of the locals, both digital and on the streets, including the gossip and the community politics that's hard to tap into from the outside without a local. Thanks, Hakim. Hakim doesn't seem frustrated with me. I'm glad I was honest with him. So how much do you already know about the situation on the ground? I know that Rebecca's dating Sephora, one of the hottest names in showbiz right now, and Reb didn't even bother to tell me herself. I found out the same way as everyone else through the FiberNet. Sephora, Rebecca's girlfriend, a superstar, has produced films in recent years. FiberNet is high-speed digital communications via electromagnetic waves that can penetrate deep into the earth, into the oceans and into the sky. There are many private self-contained networks on the FiberNet. Well, I know the lockdown is happening in Zircon Hill, and that is ostensibly because Nexed is looking for a terrorist. But what kind of manhunt doesn't release more information about the person in question? Indeed. Well, Zircon Hill has a reputation for many community leaders and activists who live there. Is there any friction between the activist community and a company as big as Nexa? What do you know about Nexa? Well, they started off as an infrastructural company in roots and urban development, and then 2 decades ago they put a lot of resources into developing a private security, kind of like mercenaries. I'm guessing it's lucrative considering that they're now diversifying into emergent biotech. Would be interesting to learn who the stakeholders are to push such seismic changes and why. That's why I'm on the ground. So, do you have to get done in Vasivia? Our boss wants us to pitch a new business plan to get more funders on board for our human rights investigative journalist team. Can't say I'm fond of our marketing tagline though. Be human together? Holy crap, it's so bad. Want to be an AI company? Help me pressure topologists to write me a raise to write better taglines. I'll help you. It's not that easy for me to influence our sizable reputed world news source, you know that. ... Why do I even try so hard at this outlet? I ask myself the same question about you every day. ... For the moment, I'm just going to save at every choice because it's one of them games. Hi, Lady Magritte! I'm going to go with care about human rights. Cared about the company's vision for journalists to speak truth to power and do our part to protect human rights, obviously. I know. Heck, I remember it from your recruitment days. How are you doing, Lady M? Is your computer behaving itself? Are we going to have a stream tomorrow? I wait with excitement and bated breath, though obviously no pressure. Also, this is Solace State. We have 1 achievement so far, which is the same one everyone gets when they start. And we are looking to get that achievement. Make strides at our techne for our RTDL. Computer issues are sorted, other life issues. Oh, I am so sorry to hear that. Interesting. So, all of the achievements have unlocks, just no one scanned on TA. has unlocked some of the latest ones, but promising. Yeah, that does not sound like fun. Yeah, crossing fingers, putting good thoughts out into the world for you and for my other friends that require such good thoughts. But yeah, this is a cool game. I'm liking it so far, and I've done less than an hour. I am interested to see where it goes. I'm thinking that these initial choices aren't going to have too much of an impact, but I have 49 save files. I'm gonna use them. Especially if this is one of those branching stories where, like, you know, the first several hours doesn't make a difference, but then it does after, and I don't want to have to play through whole bits again. But anyway, we will save when we have a choice until we run out of saves, and then we'll see. For what it's worth, I think there will be situations here that will really challenge your perception of legal rights as international biotech markets become increasingly contentious. Looking forward to learning about it. Little sincerity goes a long way. Oh, I've arrived now at Fathom Piers. Whoa. Got your luggage with you. Did you end up asking Torrent to set you up with an encrypted apartment like I suggested? Yes. Oh good. Knowing you prefer to have your ear close to the ground, I figured getting you to freelance finding you temporary residence is better than some stuffy hotel. Don't know if I've mentioned, but he works part-time with a housing non-profit to help underage people find housing in Abraxas. Okay, he sounds awesome. Works hard to come by, so his skills are underutilized. Anyways. You'd like him, I'm sure. I'll decide that myself. Can't believe the sun's already setting. By the time I get set up with an apartment, it's bound to be late at night. Prime time for real hackers doing what real hackers do to find intel, of course. Real hackers need sleep, though, and you've been travelling for the better part of the day. You have some games to stream that require a power of observation beyond your own ability. Okay, I am intrigued, Leaky. Do expand on that. The flight was long enough to catch a few hours of rest on the wheel. I'll be fine. Okay, I'm not going to tiger mum you, Chloe. Meet up with Torrent, get settled in. You need anything else, we have this encrypted channel. You can trust Torrent. See about that. Anyway, I'll let you know when I have more concrete information or juicy gossip. Sometimes gossip's what helps society buffer through difficult times. Stay safe, Chloe. You too? Yeah, I'm really liking this game. I think it got announced a few months before it came out, because I remember thinking that like the title image was in an Xbox blog post. And it sounded really interesting. It fell off my radar until I needed to top up my pool for RTDL, and then I was like, ooh, yeah. The moment that Chloe makes eye contact with Torrent, she feels ripples of electricity unlike any other, like a unique time signature that's hitherto unwritten in musical notation. Her eyes skim over him from head to toe, scanning for cybernetic implants and biochips, and seeing none. He's an icono-hacker, just like her. Okay, so for those... missed the very, very beginning. Basically, an aberration of nature. But I love it. One is the exit 8. You're walking down a subway corridor to an exit. Feels like a loop, but if you spot anything out of the ordinary... Oh, okay. It's going to be interesting with the whole, couple of second delay. Ping me before you, stream, and I'll make sure I'm paying attention. A vision of something that she cannot name bubbles inside, and she wonders what he specializes in to affect the physical and digital world at the neuroelectric level, but with a thought. Okay. He's got purple hair. Right, what voice is Torrent gonna have? I have no idea. Chloe, right? Yeah, Torrent? That's me. Let's get you set up with an apartment. I went with a boring voice, sorry. Torrent seems so quiet to Chloe at first, all pursed lips and navy hair. Purple to me, hiding his eyes. Chloe can't sense his ID. His icono-hacking makes his digital ID slide from her perception like oil on water. But probing deeper, Chloe can feel the fluidity of his neuronal axons dance just underneath his skin. Her face warms. Is that a trickle of sweat coursing down Torrent's jawline? Sweat seems jarringly human for someone so radiant with labyrinthine codec power that his skin appears chrome to Chloe's icono-hacking senses. He catches her staring and they both flick their gazes away. He's bringing up the proper protocols and forms to set Chloe up with a humble rental apartment with the seasonal fluidity of a local. Chloe's mind topsy-turvy as to whether Rebecca's lived in a space like this one. She's ever had a hard time falling asleep at night and worry gnaws at her. Do you ever feel like you're the last person in the world? Pardon? Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Never mind. No, I want to know. You just sound so different from everyone else. I've barely said anything. I meant you're hacking. I've never met another icono hacker before. You sound like a chorus of voices overlapping each other, but somehow not discordant. It's comforting. As I said, we're saving every time we get a choice for now. You're quiet, but in a poetic way. I've never met another icono hacker either. I kind of like this one. You sound like weaves on a faraway shoreland. You're very quiet. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's nice. I always hear too much. It's soothing not to feel completely surrounded by other people sometimes. Oh, I guess that's also nice. Oh, you're flitting around so quickly on the digital layers that I'm having a hard time reading you. If that's the case, is the inverse also true for you? That you can move around so quickly you don't hear much of other people's socials and bios? Okay, so socials and social media can be read encrypted private channels and massive unfiltered communities. Anyone maintains their voice on FiberNet socials like it's a necessity for their livelihood. And bios are human biology wrought down in metrics. I personally specialize in reading adrenaline and the amygdala, as well as basic things like heart rate. All the world's electric and neuroelectricity is something I can sense. Sounds noisy. Yeah, it's a good way of phrasing it. That's why I don't typically hear people much. That's so interesting and unique. Wonder how we'll work together. Yeah, icono hacking focuses on displacement. Illusion of teleportation, I'm guessing. Moving data around faster than anyone else. Did I get it? Ah, yes. You do something with bios? Yeah, reading all the data on a person, plus fake IDs and all that jazz. Being all the instruments in the orchestra, really. Getting to know me so well already, as expected that a displacement hacker could move so fast. Ah, so the apartment leasing contract. I'll need your personal information here, please. Can't just search me up. Via hacking doesn't seem polite on a first meeting. Cute. My name's Chloe Lee. I'm 22. Born on January 18th, 2007. Okay, so we're in 2029 then? So the future. We're in the future. I work with topologists, as you know. It's my first job out of university. Has 2 months of paychecks. I've already sent in my credit score via my company, but I want to know more about being in your company. Huh? What about you? Tell me about you. I'm not the one filling out a form. Just wanted to know more about my partner in crime moving forward. I mean, you're going to be telling me things about Abraxa like Hackenstead, right? Oh, right. Torrent is my chosen name. I'm 20. I've been in Abraxa all my life. That's about it. That can't be all. Well, Hacken Knight saying I can help people find others. I'm not sure that's true, but I'll do my best. Do we really want to say that every single choice? Why does he say you're good at finding others? Oh, I don't know. I don't think he used the word good. Next to you, I think you're much better at that sort of thing than I am. Huh? That's the first time someone's tried to humble their way out of giving me an answer. No, I mean it. Your abilities include information extraction from the people's bios, right? So it's a much more direct correlation to finding someone than displacement abilities. Yes and no. I'd have to be in my quantum tunneling range, which is more or less the visual range of being able to count the number of fingers on a hand, except you can go through barriers. So not helpful to find a person in a metropolis when I don't know the lay of the land. I do know the city well, and cars can sometimes reveal a lot of information about where people are. So who do you want to find? Rebecca. Sephora and her manager Rebecca, a good source of my story. I feel like we need to be trusting and direct when we can. So, my best friend Rebecca. My best friend Rebecca's missing since the Con Hill lockdown. She's now working as Sephora's manager. They're both unaccounted for at this moment. Oh, they're a cute couple. Wow, okay, not focused on their respective talents, but because they're dating each other. Ha! Sephora's got so many films under her belt, both on the production side and as an actor. Sorry. Sorry, I'm being randomly defensive about, well, what people say and just everything out there, you know. Not your fault, my nerves are just shot from the situation and I want to find them safe. It's alright, hey. I get it, you just got off a long flight and you haven't even unpacked yet. For some reason I sense that you're tired. Really tired. I'm not usually this good at reading people. Maybe it's their icona hacking connection? Maybe so. Thanks for trusting me by mentioning that it's your best friend out there. I really hope we can find them both. Don't make it weird and thank me. Oh, I'm really not trying to make you feel weirded out or anything. Oh my god, this guy is so soft. It'll help me get a better night's rest knowing what we're going to do next. Okay, sounds like we should plan for how we might do this. Not to mention, we have a lot of untested variables here. How will our abilities sync up with each other? Or let's start with what our known limitations are. Tell me a time when you lived close to the edge. Chloe, how are you so open about this? I mean, icona hackers are either treated as an urban myth or entrapped into a test tube lab. Not saying I don't appreciate you being like this, but it's just taking me a bit. Sorry. Habits and yeah. I'm not open about this to just anyone. I trust Hakim's vouching for you. I don't think it's a coincidence that you put the two of us together, and also really want to find Rebecca. Okay. And you're a bit like an open book, but even without my kind of hacking gathering detail on you. But if you're shy, I can start. My ability to read detail on a person works by intuiting what their top of mind thoughts are and extracting such associated digital media. Well, there's this one time when I tried to project a fake ID over myself and one other person and tried to impact data. Got caught trying to prevent a lot of non-profit money from getting sent right into the pockets of a vicious death squad. Turns out I can do no more than two things at once, maintaining two fake IDs or maintaining one fake ID and scoping out someone's bio and intel. Jeez, okay, I'm glad you're alright since you're here and all, yeah, but I don't have a story to top that one. I tried to get my older brother out of a sticky situation with Nexia once. Right, Nexia. Biotech conglomerate with fingers in basically every pie. Pretty out and evil these days, their private militia orchestrated and maintains the Zircon Hill lockdown. I love this tooltip thing. Oh shit. My displacement works like an illusion. For myself, it works all the time. For other people, I need to have eyeline sight of them every few seconds for it to work. I can be somewhere other than where I appear to be to everyone, but unfortunately when I encode the displacement on other people, including my brother, only about 15 odd folks perceive them at the fake locations. And what happens? Now, well, we'll save the rest of the story for another time. You tease. I'm not trying to. So, can't use your powers for chaos and steal priceless artifacts from colonizing museums during their opening hours, huh? Huh, no. And you can't just hide all the innocent people under lockdown and bundle them out? No, I've gotten max 3 people I'm bundling with my displacement technique. Though I do alright with hacking vehicles and getting us to the right places. Why do I get the feeling you're being humble right now and you're the kind of person that rap songs about your drifting skulls? That's not true. I haven't helped anyone out of the lockdown yet, because alone I don't think I can safely get in and out with someone else at all. We still need some way of getting past that haze. You said you need to be within your quantum tunneling range to pick up fake IDs and hack information. Can you build fake IDs from owner's data extractor on cars? Right, quantum tunneling. This is where your brain explodes. This is where atoms and subatomic particles from opposite binary states are energetically entangled and go through barriers. By some quirk in my tween years, I somehow magnetically activated the nerve cells in my brain, and suddenly my brain's electric field can create quantum amplification. I can direct a beam of neurons that can influence people's neural activity, particularly in the amygdala. Brain death ray thing. I don't know, that was me just pulling a funny face. Let me test this out. Torrent, despite its shyness, is a careful and meticulous planner. They continue to strategize as the early eddies around them. Planning like this with someone who knows and cares about the nooks and crannies of the neighborhood that they're breaking into brings her into focus state, unlike any other. Also, there's a pleasant honesty about Torrent, and Chloe feels perceived by him. Wait a sec. Does Hakim know you have vested interest in covering the story? Be a bit honest. I try not to overload his noggin, you know. The senior reporter's got a lot on his mind. He doesn't need to worry about me. Oh. Are you mad at me? Please don't be mad. We gotta work at dusk tomorrow. Chloe's not used to not being able to just know someone's adrenaline levels and general health. Without conscious thought, she reaches out to touch Torrent's pulse on his wrist. His eyes widen. Torrent's displacement ability comes down hard on her encoding. She mentally twists away. Trying to succeed at reading Torrent with her bioscan is like trying to separate oil from water with her bare hands. Ability to scan and analyze a person's bios, heart rate, neurochemistry, especially give you some insight into what emotions they might be experiencing. Hey. Alright, we're just doing one last test on what syncs up between you and me. You can somehow get vague impressions of my feeling via our icon hacking link, but meanwhile and unfairly, I can't use my usual tricks to figure out how you really feel via bios. You're not shutting me out on purpose, are you? Not consciously. Anyways, you don't need to know how I feel. Sorry, that's valid, I'll stop teasing you. Please save your energy, I don't want either of us hitting code rot. Which is what happens when icon hackers push themselves too hard and are causing psychological damage to themselves. What damages the brain can also shut down the body. It's not pretty. Depending on severity, it can have lasting repercussions. I think I'm now going to call burnout code rot. I mean, hacking tells me to try and be light with my icon hacking as I can, so I don't disrupt people and things I don't have to. He's never dared mention my icon hacking to my face, even though he must have put 2 and 2 together to link us up. How'd you come to trust him with that kind of intel? Hakim spun social media attention away from my icon hacking when he figured it out, since he was there when only 15 people fell for my displacement icon hacking. I've only come into my icon hacking a few years ago. Hakim's always there to talk me through the abilities that I'm responsible for. It's respectable. So you're like the eco-tourist of the icon hacking world, huh? This icon hacking world is population 2 as far as I've personally experienced. Ah, okay. Admittedly seem 2 people who need to rest up for tomorrow. We'll meet before sunset. Alright, I can take the hint. We've got our plan. Gonna wish you good night then. Looks about 12 in this picture, but he's 20. As he leaves the building, Chloe can't help but notice that the flurry of his movements via his icon hacking obscures the sound of his heartbeats like shoots of the wind. Chloe knows better than to be restless the night before a stealth attempt. Nonetheless, it's almost too thrilling and strange to fall asleep. While Chloe and Torrent are still miles away from Zircon Hill, the whole district looks like it's under a dome of frozen smoke, the physical manifestation of the haze. Nevertheless, the 2 icono-hackers refuse to let the clouds of censorship set a pall over their parley. Chloe learns that Torrent has lived in Abraxas all his life, with his neural circuits instinctively encoding the fabric of Abraxas straight to long-term memory. It's more than just photographic memory, but an experiential recall of the places he's been. The tutoring centre that he's had a part-time cleaning job during his teen years while watching his richer classmates get premium education, the aunties downstairs who taught him how to make dim sum on the weekends. Chloe envies him. She doesn't have a place where all roads feel as familiar as her veins. The closest she's got is her days on the Artechnia University campus back in Varsovia. Oh. Before the border into Zircon Hill, Chloe effectively pastes fake ideas over Torrent and herself. The majority of the streets going into Zircon Hill will have a mix of concrete roadblocks and military checkpoints armed 24 hours a day. With Torrent's patient understanding of the region, they breach a weak point in Nexa's border security by weaving through a building and catch their breaths in an alleyway. Well, our initial hypothesis stands, despite not being able to sandbox it. That's blocking everyone but those with high clearance Nexa IDs from connecting to the fibernet. Our random fecal IDs don't really get us very far in all this, except to give us a measure of anonymity. Well, the silver linings that your fake ID abilities still work, which should follow that most of my abilities will work normally. So next step is to get real Nexa IDs as covertly as possible without causing any dangerous incidents. Here's where you scan down for car registrations, right? Shouldn't be that hard. Nexa higher-ups tend to have sharp-looking cars, which is kind of out of place for what most of Zircon Hill residents can afford, so yeah, targeting the cars should help us avoid crossing paths with real Nexa to get a set of networkable IDs. Brilliant, just what we tested, lead the way. ... There we go. 128. Feltzner Tesseract down 3 blocks. Ooh, hack Sergeant Wen's car. Save 2 empty slots. Alright, so... Okay. We will do the reading and then we will decide. So, memo. Sergeant Aspen Wen has a rigorous orderly schedule that may mean he's well trusted at his station. 7 a.m. he goes to the military training center, and 9 a.m. he checks into the work canteen. By 10, he's checking equipment logistics and sending reports to his supervisor. By afternoon, he's in Zircon Hill with his riot and control team in rotating squads, marching to and holding different parts of the neighborhood. 7 p.m. he goes home to a wife and daughter on Axial Main Street in one of the grey glass skyrises. Mrs. Yusun Wen is also a full registrant of this car's insurance. Okay. Alright, officer dispatchers or emergency loitering at Bridgerford Road. Half a dozen officers requested to remove loiterers and vagrants at Bridgerford Road, nearby middle school complex. Ensure prevention of damage to property and electrical networks 37 hours ago. Drug bust at Yerna Power Plant. Special ops team sent to Yerna Power Plant, abandoned locations. Suspects are like to have live firearms. Location may have debris. Next, the security forces should not engage with location unless given explicit orders due to sensitive video operation 30 hours ago. Violations at Havercourt Community Centre. Threats of altercation and violation of lockdown curfew at Havercourt Community Centre. General... Mob control. Chloe's thoughts. She started off by telling Torrent about militia dispatches to Havercourt Community Centre. It's the most recent entry, and community centres are likely places where lots of people can gather. Bound to be good intel. Torrent would know whether it's worth putting on an itinerary. Also, I think there was a thing with him in the community centre. So, seems like there's a dispatch set to relocate this Nexus scum to Havencourt Community Centre for violation of curfew. That's garbage. Hold on, you said Havencourt. Yeah, why? You told me when we were planning yesterday that one of the last people Rebecca messaged was Sully. Yeah, from what I was a gleam from my friend's encrypted chat logs. Sully's one of the best known community program managers at Havencourt. It's literally a home turf. We found nothing suspicious on the Nexo comms I was about to bring us then. There. I don't like this. Coincidence. Yeah, we need to get there ASAP. Okay, so now we take both IDs. Yeah, there's Sergeant Aspen Wen has good network access with his crowd control speciality. Should probably take on that ID. Yeah, I know how these guys talk, what their weaknesses are. Ha! I figured military industrial complexes and egos are the same everywhere. Well, Nexo used to be heralded as heroes that protected the city, and some people still have a lot of deep trust with the corporation. They own a lot of infrastructure that folks rely on. Hey look, Dan's online! Guess it's never uncomplicated. Yeah, fine, I'll grab his wife's ID for myself. She's also Nexo, so not completely locked out from the network. It works out swiftly as Chloe applies their fake IDs with nearly a blink of her eyes. Torrent's locational tracking makes sure that the real Wens are nowhere near. Okay. I am definitely intrigued and enjoying this game. We've got to go. As they reach the community centre, Chloe can feel Torrent sag as they take in the chaos unfolding before them. Sully stands in the middle of a cluster of half a dozen militiamen, hemming her in and prodding her. Sully is a grassroots organiser in the Zircon Hill community, kind of a workaholic. She's agreed to help us out. She holds her ground as much as she can, her voice low and gesturing for calm, but it's clear that the knot of locals Around them is taut with distress. A breaking point is coming. Sudi's body falls into the ground to a sickening sound of a rifle hitting flesh and bone. A collective inhale of anger radiates outwards before turbulent shouts overlap into jagged noise. Torrent looks away. So we've got so much that we have already read. As that we know Torrent's surname is Tam. But now we can mark them all as read because we have picked up a lot of stuff. Alright, okay. So we've also got a summary. So, flashback about her childhood lessons. She fled her hometown in the outskirts of Lenora's capital with Rebecca, who taught her how to control her icono-hacking powers. They relied on it to escape under fake IDs. They ended up going to Vesuva. Chloe wakes up as she arrives in Abraxa. And then we've got going to Abraxa, talking to Hakim, finds her friends, and then we've got Chloe meets Torrent. Okay. Also a good way to catch up if you come back to it later. Oh shit, my brother's lurking over there. What? Torrent, pay attention. Sudi's... Why does he have to be here? He's probably going to lash out next here for symbolic reasons or not be able to keep his temper. Ugh. Okay. Call Torrent out for not mentioning his brother. Ask Torrent to stay focused. Ask him to stay focused. Stay focused. I can just keep an eye on him. You keep in character out there. You're wearing the skin of a superior officer. Shame the next goons into submission or appeal to their sense of humanity. Just make sure they leave and leave Sudi alone. Okay, right. Okay, appreciate it. I'm dropping my Mrs. Wen ID to do other kinds of icon hacking to support you. We'll get Sudi out of there. Okay. Torrent heaves a shaky breath. Chloe watches with goosebumps as Torrent eases himself into the crowd like an oil spill on concrete, barely taking up attention until he's in their midst. Chloe sees Torrent sharpen his gaze to try and play the part, but only a slim majority of the Nexus soldiers part ways to salute him. Chloe stiffens. Mom, that soldier's aggression was warranted. Let me help you up. Soldier, you've got some explaining to do. We aren't going to move ahead in this region by beating people to the ground. You think vermin like her would listen to order? These pests just keep on trying to stir up trouble. We gotta put them in their place. Suli, aided by Torrent, rises cautiously to her feet. The other soldiers are still hovering around her and not letting her leave, so she's angling herself between them and the community centre front door. She must have a will of steel about her. Torrent's eyes flicker to Suli first, and the soldier brandishing his rifle at Suli. Chloe senses that Torrent has generated invisible quantum wave packets synchronizing between the three. Considering Torrent's personality, Chloe presumes the icono-hackers shifted the soldier's perception of Suli's location between one blink and the next to keep the community leader offset from the line of fire. Chloe acknowledges how fraught the situation is. Torrent cannot exert his displacement hack on all unarmed civilians in such a large crowd, and so there are so many innocent lives at risk if a fight should break out. This'll be a detente if I don't do something. If Torrent's going to get rid of these guys, I'll have to hack the lead goon and send him info that he can work with. Hack Finn! We are just having the funniest of just saving everything. I like that. It's got a little tooltip, so it tells you which way around things are. It is Pi Day if you write the dates like that. But yeah, it's like, you've got 49 save slots. Cool! I'm going to use every single one of them. There's 50 because there's an auto-save. But yeah. We might actually just take a very short break to have a stretch and get some hot tea. So I should be back in a few minutes. Feel free to get hydrated, have a stretch, snack, etc. yourself. and I'll catch you. Okay. You were just gonna... I mean, the slashes is odd, but it's, you know, biggest to smallest type time thing, which is... I like it because it is logical. Because then you do the year, month, day, hour, minute, second, millisecond, and it's literally from largest to smallest unit of time. But yeah, ISO is usually hyphen or not. Anyway, the point is, it's nice that they've got a little tooltip thing, and I'm still gonna have a quick break because my fingers are freezing, which is generally a symbol that I need to do something that's warm. So I shall be back in a few moments. Be right with you. Now we're gonna hack Finn. Right. Okay. Happy birthday, my boy Finn. 5 years old already, Finn Master, Magical Man. Aww. Zircon Hill Little League, Finn Master 13. Okay, misdemeanor court summons, battery charge. Allegedly punched an ex-colleague to the ground after his firing. Fined for abuse. Wow. Finn is foreign person knowing about how Zircon Hills have been breeding ground, but he and his single mother have lived here for years. He must have some sort of inferiority complex about coming from a low-income neighborhood and wants to step all over people how he's moved up with Nexa. Okay, so... workplace violence. Due to previous behavioural issues in the workplace that included violence against a colleague, court records show that Finn was paid a significant settlement and fired. Nonetheless, he still had a record. Couldn't find a job. In a separate hiring letter, Nexa had made him sign an agreement to subsistence wage for 16 months in order to avoid a prison term. With the terms of his hiring, Finn was not provided with healthcare benefits. Messages to his mother. Finn couldn't afford to go to uni. The messages suggest he wants to make more money to take care of his ailing mother, but there isn't much money going around. His mother ended up in his aunt's home, but the aunt treats both her own sister and him like second-class citizens, constantly insulting them. She also traps Finn into getting her Nexa pain blockers. Finn loads her. Well, I'm not going to mock him. Maybe there's something here. Okay. Finn doesn't make enough money to pay for physio for a painful reoccurring spasm and shattered kneecap in his right leg. That's the more expensive option. There's no way Nexa doesn't have more advanced treatments that could cure it within a week. Finn doesn't. We're in top shelf care. Encourage better behaviour for healthcare. Your medical records show you've only received basic healthcare for your leg. What about it? Well, if you get your act together here, I'm sure I can put in a good word. You don't have physical disability coverage at your work. What happens if it worsens? Finn has a hunted expression as a weakness being exposed to all and sundry. Oh, was this a bad idea? Next, a soldier, prone to violent outbursts. Yeah, I don't think. Watch it, you bitch. I'm not the enemy here. The system that prevents anyone from getting back to proper health is. Even the folks gathered around are taken aback about how outrageously uncaring and competitive Nexa sounds. Sully looks dismayed and frustrated. Finn held her gaze for a second there. Sully, though, is shaken, clearly wants to remain in the conversation to protect her community. Okay, so... appeal to societal issues. Tell him he's stuck to this job, social stressed. Appeal to his empathy. Mental social issues. Look, I know it's rough living in the city. It's expensive. You need to help your mum pay the bills, so you're in this job. Everyone's just trying to make ends meet. Bullshit. You make 20 times more than I do. You have no idea what it's like. No, we don't know exactly, but these are common experiences in this community. We all need access to healthcare. We all want to take care of our own. It hasn't been fair for the lot of us. So don't take it out on people who could be your allies. Oops, I may have gone too far there. I wasn't minding who I was pretending to be. Should be alright. Look, everyone looks like they're at least thinking about what both you and Suli said. Suli seems poised and composed, and the improving situation has a calming effect on the crowd. Okay. How am I supposed to unpack that? Well, he's stuck. He can't get more financial stability or find other jobs. What Nexus did to him is predatory and coercive. This is hard. I'm supposed to be playing the bad guy now? Listen, personally, I think Nexus should have paid you fairly from the start. You don't know what I went through. How do you think I got where I am? I didn't go about beating people who could have been my neighbours, and you lived here once. People who have not had the best resources in life still deserve another chance. You think I deserve another chance? If you want to keep this job, you've got to treat people better, and besides this job, you've got nowhere else to go. That's your second chance. Do better. Sublime how folks rose around Suli now, buoyed by her fearlessness and forgiveness. The militia shuffle uncomfortably, giving way to Suli's gravity as she is embraced by her people. Enough of this. No higher-ups are going to be happy with your behaviour, Finn. What you're all doing here is a waste of Nexus resources. Oh shit. Ah, you must be seeing the approved server request to put you on paid suspension. This is just a slap on the wrist, you'll see. We'll let internal supervisory decide. The rest of you escort Finn back home. If you deviate off course, I'll know. Worried about having their complicity exposed, the rest of the men rush to follow Torrent's orders. In the flurry, Chloe notices an encroaching shadow. She has to quickly decide whether to burden Torrent with yet another emergency. Okay. This is fun. I'm enjoying this. I'm still saving. I'm only saving because it said I could have 49 saves. Heck, Waylon, Torrent's brother. Courier, concealed syringe. No time to get more data. Torrent's brother has a syringe gripped in his hand like a weapon, filled with God knows what. His adrenaline is spiked and he's fast approaching the knot of soldiers with Torrent in the middle. Should I warn Torrent and tell him to do something, or just make Waylon briefly forget what he wants to do? Ooh. Do we want to be influencing people's memories? Could it have long-term side effects? Because Waylon is likely to cause problems with a situation that we've hopefully just diffused. But we've dealt with the hacking route so far. You say yes, we should change his memory. Okay. I mean, we did a save. If it goes terribly wrong, we load the save. Change his memory. It won't do to shake Torrent's attention now, with so many civilians and soldiers' attention focused on him. Without the capacity to build another fake ID, the best she can do is make haste in the shadows as she sneaks up on Waylon, watching for every tell of his next movements. From 2 meters away, Chloe has a clear, interrupted line of neuroelectrical current between her bios and his. Within a heart-racing second, she finds what she needs to effect. Chloe momentarily blocks his memory consolidation of the concealed syringe. It'll prevent Waylon from remembering he has a syringe in his pocket by interrupting the transfer of short-term memory into long-term memory. I mean, you know. As quickly as she dares, Chloe focuses with all her might on the concept of syringe to try not to affect his other recent memories in his hippocampus. As Chloe predicts, her hack disrupts Wayland's trajectory and he peers confusedly about him, blending in with all the other locals for the time being. Chloe sees Torrance staring her way, his face still fitted to Wen's frowns. Chloe belatedly realizes that her spike in quantum energy output is unlike anything that she's done up until now, because memory writes require a particularly high concentration of it. You, what are you doing? Your brother had a concealed syringe. I made sure he didn't. I don't know how. I made sure. Your brother had a concealed syringe. I made sure he didn't. I don't know. Stab you in the back for strutting around his Nexa. So what did you do? I thought you knew how to read data, not write. I altered his memory so you forget about the syringe? Can you not take such a risk? I know my brother. He'd never hurt someone. You couldn't have found a better option? I calculated the risks. I've been at this longer than you. I can read when someone's adrenaline is poised to attack, even if his weapon won't leave lasting damage. You don't think those soldiers wouldn't use that against him once they discover what he did? You could have told me about it. I could have handled him. I just went with something that I thought was a surefire solution. You had everyone's attention on you. Memory stuff is scary, Chloe. It's drastic and invasive and a violation of the mind. It's a little scary that you went to that first. I was cautious. I made sure the memory was narrowly defined. Shouldn't it be just used for emergencies then? Not to mention that you could hit code rot with that much concentration of energy and lose your narrowly defined control. I was an emergency and I've managed this within my own limits. I'm worried, okay. For both of you, I'm worried. And you know how I feel when I made that decision? You just completely surprised me with it. I'm sorry. If you meet Wayland, would you tell him the same? Never mind. Let's just loop back around and be ourselves again. Fine, rendezvous at the alleyway. When they meet each other again in their own skin, they take a moment to breathe through what happened. Chloe gives Torrent plenty of space, knowing that the younger man has to do the majority of the heavy lifting in that operation. Alright, that was a lot. I just want to check in with you. How do you feel? That was, I don't know, but I hope I never have to do that again. Want me to calm down your adrenaline a bit? That's fine. Don't worry, I'll be fine. I just want to know, how do you calm down for all of this and be yourself again? I just feel there's something so uncertain about playing at being someone else and then being yourself again. Yeah, it's challenging not to disassociate. Breathe with me. Focus on your 5 senses and how you uniquely feel things. Name 5 things you see, then 4 things you hear, 3 things you touch. And that unsettled gut feeling, it's real. I don't think it's just because you took on a fake idea of someone whose role is one that you're diametrically opposed to. It can take a while to feel like yourself again when you're playing a fake idea under stress. Yeah, you got me. Well, I'm not a good actor either, so I felt like my stomach was flipping inside out when I was practically pitching a softer version of Nexair. Like, what if I'm playing the good cop of Nexair? There's so many bad, horrible things that they've done. Did the words I say justify them? Yeah, that's tough. Well, for what it's worth, Zuck on Hell seems pretty against Nexair as a conglomerate. That one good cop isn't going to change things. Yeah, you're right. You're getting the local politics already. Just repeating what you taught me. A lot of people have been holding their breaths, and while we've cleared the air this once, the big issues haven't been solved. Yeah. So let's take it one step at a time. You'll feel better once you see CD again. Let's go inside, yeah? Okay. I think we needed to do that so he knew we could do that. And he's not freaking out too much. They ran an unseen corner before entering the community centre. Torrent drops Aspen Wen's fake ID. Chloe bites back a grumble at removing the well-worn shield of ID illusion, but she understands it won't do much to march around after the de-escalation as one of the Nexair militia. Don't worry. Zircon Hill people look after their own. After years of activism, they're good with making sure there's no Nexair trackers around here to listen or record what we say. Ixir has its own insular community, but so does Zircon Hill, huh? Just say make it through a side door. Whom else to nearly smack into them but Wayland? The older brother's scowl rejigs into a too-sharp grin and he bounces on his heels with the nonchalance of a tiger. Chloe's eyes snap over to Torrent. Even Torrent's pearly edges seem to fizzle with unease. Wow! Just wow! Old Pa's been wrong about us this whole time. It's the company you keep, Tora, that's gonna get you into trouble these days. Excuse me? You the one behind my buyer's attack? Because it's nothing like what my little brother is capable of. ... Girl, do I have to explain myself twice? I know exactly what iconal hacking feels like. I've been subjected to that for years. And I don't believe in a coincidence of appearance, considering again, Tor here. Hi, Jessie. It's timey-wimey, you know, wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey. These are not the droids you're looking for. And also, little brother's hovering over you like an overprotective hermit bat. Well, aren't you the regular detective type? As a matter of fact, the old pa tried to train me in that direction, but the career path didn't take. If you're so smart, why'd you try and stab Torrent with a syringe? Yeah, no, you don't get a free answer to that one. I, for one, don't appreciate you when someone messes with my biology without my consent like that. You're about to hurt your own brother. What was I supposed to do? Yeah, who the hell brought you up? Chloe, you really shouldn't have messed with his memories like that. Did you hear what I just said? It was a Cephas bat. Can you guarantee that you won't, I don't know, leave lasting damage in my brain? You don't know my brain. It was a hit and run. I mean, fair enough, but we've got to try it once. Maybe. I'm sorry. For what it's worth, it's something I have some control over, and it temporarily impacts your memory consolidation. But wait, you are the one raising a syringe to a bunch of Nexir trigger-happy fiends. Have some self-restraint for once, please. Holy shit. What the hell do you think is in it? Think I'd kill him? Syringe is a truth serum. I was just going to get the Nexir assholes to reveal their intentions with this lockdown. Aren't you able to scan the serum with all your weird-ass powers? Chloe probably had at a most a few-second window. I'm going to go with no. Plus, if the brother was injected with true serum, that would have been a problematic. Ooh, you've figured out what you're going to buy. What are you going to buy, Jessie? Which would result in Torrent revealing his identity or his powers, not to mention there were other soldiers around. You're not afraid of them. Chloe glares. She did what she did to protect Torrent. Why can't we see that? Surprisingly, Torrent's face glows red. Chloe sees him flickering as though contemplating fleeing from the premise. Wayland clocks Torrent's expression and scoffs and opens his mouth to retort. So that's how it is, Tor. Your crew... let's go. We should see Suli. The incandescent gem lights hit Chloe's face. She's not expecting to see Suli already on her feet after a ordeal, helping an injured person to a makeshift mattress. Chloe exchanged a perplexed glance with Torrent. Shouldn't the young woman also take some time to breathe, considering the trauma of being threatened at gunpoint? Messenger. Don't remember that one. Must have missed it in Game Pass. Also getting Prince of Persia. Well, I mean, we did spend a good 10 minutes talking about it on Tuesday. And Persona Collection. Interesting. Yeah, I need to look at the sale properly, I guess. And you're still thinking about Sonic Frontiers. Cool. Yeah. I haven't seen anything that, like, jumped out at me. But, you know, it's fine. Oh! Oh, you're talking to me about the Remembering DLC. About deep as it'll get. Yeah, but as you said, it often goes on sale. So as long as I don't buy it on sale when it's a more expensive price than it is now, I've not played Kingdom Hearts 3. I've got to play 1 and 2 first, right? So, you know. it seems pointless buying the DLC that's not going to go away. I own 3. Yeah, I think I have it on disc for some reason. Maybe. I own a lot of games that I haven't played or dived or acknowledged. Big games. Though I think I did dive Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 disc, because it's a compilation, isn't it? What? 450,000? I don't understand the sentence. Are we talking gamer score or money or? I bleeped the bleep. Oh! Right. You're thinking about redeeming a thing. Right. Yeah. Okay. Bear in mind that I like playing series through in order. Please. When requesting things. It should be my game collection. Probably marked as like ordered because I do that so it doesn't show up in things. But anyway. Carry on with the story. Never a moment of rest for the good-hearted, yeah? There's a lot to be done, Torrent. What are you doing here? Playing saviour with a new girl, Chloe. Brother. And how do you know Suli, Whelan? Right, we go Whelan. Older brother, hothead, don't think likes me very much. Suli, grassroots, workaholic. She's agreed to help us out, even though we haven't met her yet. How do I not know her? I'm her errand boy. How else is she gonna get her shipments? Inauspicious time for you to be dropping by, Chloe. I'm Suli Dumorais, a community program manager on the health services here. As you can see, there's a lot going on. Oh, she's pretty. I'd say, straight to the point, Act 1.5. Do we have any indication? Actually get Torrent angry about something. I'm not going to look into this. Alright, so that's the opposite of the Artechny one that I have to get. Alden, get together with Suli, get together with Torrent. So there's probably at least 3 playthroughs there. So Alden. Yeah, okay. So take Alden next here, take Torrent. Okay, yeah. Witness the protest turned riot. Ally yourself with Raylene. Deepen your friendship, deepen your friendship, deepen your friendship. So are we like friendship or romance? So like set out to find other. I can't. That feels like an end game achievement. I don't know many acts. I like it when you get one for finishing an act. At this point, it doesn't seem to have a thing. So I'm just going to go straight in with, can you help us find someone? We need your help. Taunt and I think you have me have an idea of where to find someone. Sure, but a lot of people here also need help. Look at this girl who's completely out right now. When the lockdown happened, she tried to shut down the Seraph chip at the back of her neck with blunt force, narrowly nicking something. Implanted chip proprietary to the neck, so it's unclear what the purpose of is. Knowing next to it can't be good. Her vitals are all over the place and the doctor's still on the way. Let me see if I can do something. How'd this happen? She'd have to be awake to tell you, but I think a generalized anxiety about Nexia tearing apart our neighborhood may have caused this girl to take an extreme action against the Seraph biochip. Everyone's pissed off as hell. Chloe reaches out to touch the pulse on the girl's wrist with both hands. Chloe doesn't really need to draw a whole circuit to get a rapid bioscan, but the gesture's familiar to onlookers and doesn't mark Chloe out as doing anything out of the ordinary in established medical discourse. Chloe finds out the girl's name is Gayon Youngsung. Her ill-fated attempt to prick a pin sharply against the microelectric hardware in the Seraph chip has led to the adrenaline in her system going haywire. At her elbow, a heart rate monitor jumps up and down, scattershot. Suli's brows remain furrowed. You're trained in traditional healing arts. Something like that. Something like that. Not appreciating this mockery right now, Whelan. So we've got Finn, Whelan, Aspen Wen. Seraph. Whoops. Okay, so next torrent broken into Second Hell. At this proximity, Chloe can use quantum tunneling to return Young Sung's adrenaline to its homeostasis set point. Chloe looks up to a more moderate heart rate in the monitor, and to Suli's considering gaze. Torrent beside her is positively glittering, at least to her eyes. Suli too appear incandescent in the otherwise unremarkable lighting of the gym. Huh? So may we gain an audience with you, Suli? This way. So you wanted to ask me something. Torrent and I want to find Sephora and Rebecca Limbaco, and we've reason to believe they're somewhere in the lockdown. Chloe clocks Suli's grave countenance with severely downturned lips. Chloe's heart flips. If you can't find them on the outside, then I also fear for the worst. The last known places that I'd be at would be these two. The abandoned Yana power plant. That's giving me Final Fantasy vibes. Or the Kingfisher Cafe at Suriwongsi Street. Decommissioned, abandoned years ago since the Civil War, and local politicians were concerned about safety in case of a tyrant from the war used the site as a stage of violent seizure. An abandoned power plant? For what? A film project? What are we potentially walking into here? It's hard to say, given how much has changed after Nix's enforced lockdown. Sephora and Rebecca were supposed to be interviewing someone. Rebecca did the background checks on the interviewee. They got in touch with me about it because Zircon Hill protects its own. The timing is inauspicious, as you see what your gut said. There's a reason Rebecca and Sephora chose not to come here to find me after lockdown, even to try to sneak over here between the guard rounds. Maybe it's for my safety, maybe it's for theirs, or for whomever they're with. But as for whether or not it's a violent or volatile situation, or they're just acting as preventative measure against potential violence, I cannot tell at all. The kind of garbage that Hayes set up for us even. So we have to be prepared for anything, including extracting ourselves in the most covert way possible. Torrent, if you go to Kingfisher Cafe, you must tell them you have my blessing, okay? Suli's given you the blessing to visit here. There's got to be some sort of local thing I don't quite grasp. I don't have Torrent's accent and manner, after all. I see, will do. Or a safe house. Chloe, I trust that Torrent chose to tackle this with you for a reason. You two keep each other safe and hidden. Suli's canny, without needing to confront me about my abilities, not like, oh, speak of the devil. Sorry to interrupt. Are you, though? But something's just not sitting right with me, really. What are you doing in Zircon Hill, Tor? You could be anywhere but here. No one's choosing to be here. The Haze. Yeah, Captain Obvious. If you've been in this neighbourhood since the lockdown began with your location sensors, you would have been able to find me within 2 days max. Which means that you, Chloe, dragged him here on some airbrained scheme. What are you playing at? Sure you can throw in all these accusations without a truth serum? You, Tor just doesn't take risks like this. Maybe I care to find you and try and reunite you with your partner. Jeez. Come on, stop bickering, you two. Chloe, Torrent, I should let you get going. Sorry. If whatever you're getting into is perilous, you should probably bring me in as the muscle. I can't bring him along. I can only maintain 2 fake IT hacks at once. Thought you'd say that, then it's one more variable to worry about if he came with. Torrent jets his chin towards Waylon and strikes a silent conversation between the two brothers. After a long drawn bit, Waylon rakes his hair back and narrows his eyes. You're not going to budge on this one, eh? Come here, little bro. Jav. The two brothers continue in that unspoken conference. Chloe walks back to the gym with Suli and focuses on giving Young Sung her full attention to ease her runaway adrenaline further before she leaves. As Suli gives Chloe a considering look, the heart rate monitor is no longer showing irregular spikes. Chloe doesn't know how much her intervention will help long term and says as much. Suli must see what she wants to find because she gives Chloe a firm nod of acknowledgement. Chloe nods back affably and tilts her head to listen in on Torrent and Waylon's conversation as they approach. We'll be all right here, thank you, Chloe. Brother, look after Suli, yeah? You've been in scrapes and altercations before you know what that come down is like. Wow, where'd you get such a good head on your shoulders? What'd you do, my little brother? Chloe takes a moment to breathe in and out, letting the friendly banter wash over her. Braces herself for the need to leave the warmth of the community centre soon. Okay, so we're just saving. I think I'm going to go with Torrent. Just... Sweetie is very pretty. We could make this gay. I mean, it's already gay. We could make it more gay. We could have a drink of tea and think. Because I think this is the start on who we're going to pick. Oh, cold nose. But I do like the whole iconohacker thing. But also silly. Does the peanut gallery have any opinions? Is the peanut gallery still there? I was also going with Torrent. Maybe Torrent's a bit mad at us because we tried to change his brother, though if he'd have got injected with truth serum, that could have gone very badly. Now, I'm going to make it gay. Chloe looks up in time to see Sudi quirk her lips into a smile, honeyed and with an edge. She's such a capable, brave woman to have fault to help so many people around her. It makes her radiant in her beauty, but also Chloe can't help but hope that the other woman gets a bit of a reprieve after all this. Maybe her network of doctors can spare an examination for Sudi's mental health too. Before long, Torrent and Chloe leave the warm comforts of the community centre behind. As they creep closer to the power plant, Chloe's nerves skitter in the form of goosebumps. Torrent, judiciously applying his displacement hacks on the two of them, does nothing to ease Chloe's hypervigilance. I really love the art style and the imagery in this game. I think the music gave up the ghost a while ago. There was, I think, music. The game doesn't seem to be making any noise right now. So maybe it's meant to be quiet. Before them is an industrial lot, grey and unremarkable. A passing Nexair guard listlessly turns the corner and the two of them make a quick avoidance with flipping the switch on both fake IDs and displacement in an abundance of caution. The power plant seems well and truly abandoned, but the air is congealing as though its eddies of dust have been recently disturbed. There's no electrical hum since the station has long been taken off-grid. Her eyes meet Torrent's, and in a microsecond her senses kick into high alert. Torrent growls under his breath, and they both spin in the same direction to hack in a bit of masked fake footage on an errant surveillance camera. Chloe grimly notes that it's connected to a separate power grid with an Nexus signature, and in the direction that the unexpectedly live camera is pointing towards, the yard's pulpous mud. Pulpous mud is disturbed by many stamping boots. The mud prints track to an airless tunnel that connects one station building to another. Torrent, you have enough energy to cover me again, right? I need to drop my ID to do scans. Alright, the displacement is affecting you continuously now. That's a lot of blood here, enough to spill to kill a person. How recent? Spilled less than half a day ago. Fresh. Shit. There's more debris in this tunnel than one would expect of the gradient erosion of time. She swallows past a lump of nausea, dropping fear into an obscure cave inside her. Shit. I can handle the not good news. I'm picking up 2 IDs. The blood's from a man by the name of Theo Varenz. There's also urine on the ground from Sephora. No, Rebecca. Not that I can tell. Chloe isn't certain who moved first, but suddenly she and Torrent are clinging to each other like scared children. They both take shallow breaths as they're afraid of letting the air know that they're there. Is the man an instigator or a victim? I can't tell that either. And it's likely that the camera is none the wiser if it's installed by people intending to keep others out from discovering the scene. I'll skim through its contents anyway. Okay. Tell me, which stuff is most saturated by the blood and urine and as separate as possible? Torrent pulls out midnight black gloves that are untouched by his iridescent nature. Chloe tilts her head askance. Wayland reminded me to keep these gloves on me. I made them because sometimes my movement-based iconal hacking can cause interference. He also gave me some evidence bags in case we come across anything suspicious. So we did have a stint as a detective. Yeah. They make efficient work, hearts pounding in singular focus. In a shrunken, barely conscious compartment of her mind, Chloe knows that Torrent's letting her hear his bios the entire time. Endurance, perhaps, the desire to be perceived in such a deadened atmosphere more likely. Once done with skimming the footage, nothing to see except an errant change of Nexa guards, Chloe grits her teeth and with all her might not to let existential uncertainty crush her windpipe into a viscous mess. There's some powerful imagery in these words. And also tongue twisters, because mine keeps on falling all over it. They make their way to the Kingfisher Cafe. Creeping in the shadows should have been the same level of risk as before, the same exhausting interplay of displacement and fake ID hacks layering together. Armed with fear and dread, both iconic hackers are applying both hacks as failsafe to their continued stealth. Still, Chloe gingerly picks her way across shadowed alleyways, as though half expecting her footfalls to stumble her into an unexpected crevice. Sudi's given us the blessing to visit here. Chloe looks up when she hears the crack in Torrent's voice. She doesn't remember all the steps taken to arrive here to stand in front of the restaurant manager of the Kingfisher Cafe. Oh! Hole-in-the-wall restaurant, well supported by locals, simple decor belies how deliciously spiced their seafood is, located in Sorewong Street. Because I'm like, oh, I forgot to do the little tooltip thing. Torrent swallows and Chloe reaches for his hand. The manager inspects them over her spectacles and leaves for the back room. Chloe feels dusty to her bones. An indeterminate time later, the manager gestures for them to follow down a narrow, quiet hallway. Suddenly, Rebecca stands before them. She's swaying, eyes glassy. Chloe breaks away from Torrent to reach out to catch her, instinctively checking her for any injuries. Rebecca! Oh my God, we found you. Sephora. I'm not Sephora, it's me, Chloe, Rebecca. You here? They took her from me. Rebecca's crying. She's coming apart at the seams in a way that Chloe's never seen before. Eyes red-rimmed with debris stuck to her, clothes and cheeks stained bloody with splash damage. Chloe's last memory was a Rebecca that was strong and stoic, and the reality jars her. But Chloe has to know what happened to help them, all of them. She whispers as soothing she can to her best friend. Who is Theo? Someone we're supposed to protect. Theodore Varenz, Nexer engineer, whistleblower. He was trying to expose an exploit in the Seraph biochips before he was silenced. Conspiracy! A chill runs down Chloe's spine, the surveillance camera showing just Nexa guards, the spilled blood. Knowing Rebecca, she must have run herself ragged trying to find Sephora. We need to get you out of here. Outside, Torrent jacks the car without a word, and Chloe moves and now near catatonic Rebecca to help strap her into the plush seats. He speeds them back to the Havencourt Community Centre. Torrent no doubt wants to spirit his brother out of this lockdown. Chloe's just as concerned for Suli. She has new suspicions as to why Suli was targeted by the Nexo guards. With 3 people on displacement and 2 on fake IDs, the bone-weary gang of 5 spirit themselves past the Zircon Hills lockdown checkpoints in a stolen vehicle. The guilt of doing so little to right such a catastrophic event pulls Chloe's back muscles rigidly together. Bittersweet reunion. Find Rebecca. So is that the end of Act 1 then? After retreating to Chloe's modest apartment, Rebecca struggles to regain her composure. The stiff chair, stained couch, and fading wallpaper feel luxurious now compared to the chaos of Zircon Hill. Despite her best not to push Rebecca beyond her means, Chloe tries to get to the bottom of what happened. Okay, now we have music. You said Nexier killed someone. An engineer. I think his name's Theo. Was working on the Nexier Seraph biochips. She's barely keeping it together, with her eyes to the floor and her voice shaking. This is a far cry from the role model Chloe remembers. That's the problem with putting people on pedestals. They're only human. He needed our help. He found an exploit. It lets Nexier collect more data than they're admitting, and more access. Not just access, control. What's that mean? They can mess with your brain chemistry, cause or prevent adrenaline release, dopamine release, and more. They can basically manipulate your emotions and plant intrusive thoughts. What the hell? He reported the exploit, up the chain, and they brushed it off, didn't do anything about it. He started to think it was intentional by design. He wanted to get the word out to let people know what they're doing, and they... Rebecca breaks down. The weight of her devastation is finally tearing out of her in a brutal tide. And they killed him for it. Nex has been shady in the past, but this is beyond the pale. What happened to Safor? Theo needed someone to help him get the word out, and because of Safor's profile and documentary work, he thought she could help. Silly arranged a meeting, and... I feel terrible. I had no idea. You couldn't have known this would happen. This isn't on you. We agreed to meet with him to hear his story. When we realised how big it was, we all agreed Nexier wouldn't go down without a fight, and we needed to plan our next move carefully. We went off the grid because we knew they'd be looking for him. We thought if we were careful, if we planned it right, we could make so much noise that Nexier couldn't cover it up. He had a key with samples of code that we were going to distribute to the press as proof. I don't know how they found us. We were so careful. Do you need a minute? No, I'm fine. Everything was fine, we thought. Then they were suddenly just there. We were going through the plans, and they just bashed their way in with rifles and tear gas. It took us by surprise. I tried to gather everything, but it was just chaos in a matter of seconds. I lost Safor in the smoke. Rebecca haltingly recounts how the whistleblower was shot right next to her, blinding her with his arterial blood. There was not a chance to try and save Theo. By the time Rebecca was able to clear the sting of blood from one of her eyes, she saw there was a gaping hole in his throat and no rise and fall of his chest. Immediately after, smoke poured in and Rebecca instinctively covered her eyes. Loud detonations and crashes seemed to come at her from all directions, from the muddy ground outside to the clanging against the abandoned factory walls. Her eyes stung and her throat spasmed. Babe, Safor! Reb, where are you? Rebecca may know war theory, but she's a civilian with no training to suddenly convert military operations. In a disoriented state, a blur of an Nexier military uniform appeared in front of her, only to twist into the smoke. She ran through the smoke, batting at the miasmic blooms. Safor! An echo of another bang. Maybe it was in her head now. She spun around and saw Safor being dragged off, wilting and unconscious between two monstrous bipedal brutes. Another flash. Rebecca swayed, uncertain if she was injured. Her mouth opened in a silent scream. I couldn't get my bearings. If I just ran if they'd caught me. Thank God they didn't. Right. Save. Save to empty slots. We are... Nope, we're in 1.6. So we just did Finding Rebecca though. So I don't... It's not because I'm being callous. But I don't want her to think... I wanted to have hope that Safor was still alive. So I'm just going to go with, did you keep any of the info? Did you manage to grab any of the whistleblower's files? No, it all happened so fast. It's okay. You're safe, and that matters so much more. Maybe, but now we have nothing to use against Nexier. We can worry about that later. We'll find something. We had something. We had enough to shut the whole thing down. I should have grabbed them. I should have... You did the only thing you could have. Escape. No one here is going to fault you for that. Please don't blame yourself, Rab. Chloe sits next to her friend and holds her tight as if she could absorb the pain for her. Moments pass in heavy silence as Chloe loses herself, staring off at nothing in particular. Chloe, you okay? Just remembering something I'd rather forget. Screams wrap around the prison halls. The coppery scent of blood and misery makes Chloe's eyes water. Oh, it's this preachy dude that we had at the beginning. It feels like there is nowhere to avert her eyes because the walls are stained with the festering wounds of past suffering. This is a place built for the punished, but it is inhabited by the damned. She's heard stories that make her skin crawl. Everyone has. She used to question their outlandish horror, but being here now, she's not so sure. Sleep deprivation alone hasn't worked, so we've opted for more direct means. There are 4, yes? Yes, 4 insurgents. We have their direct families as well. I will see the others before the end of the day as well. Of course. Please let me go back. I want to go back to my studies. We're doing something special today. I don't like it here, it's creepy. What we like is irrelevant, it's what must be done. What are you doing? Why would you bring me here? Silence, you're here to learn. I can't be here. Can I go, please? Please? This man is a traitor to Laura. And rats sneaking through back alleys plotting. Men like this want to rob us of everything we've achieved. Okay, so... Great nation, authoritarian, cultured, and cares about the continuity of their supremacy above all other things in life. I won't let them. The prisoner says nothing this entire time, as though the language is no longer a part of his faculties, as though it's become reductive in this place. A quiver unearths from Chloe. She wants to reach out and help this man. She knows she can't make a single noise of protest. Doing so would be futile. The visceral sound of chains connecting with flesh turns her stomach. She could feel bile rise up, but one glance at Hiratang's cold eyes suggests she will have to bear witness to much more bloodletting if she didn't move this head on and watch. Maybe she should understand who this person is on her own terms. There's no way that Hiratang would be able to track her hack. Okay. Hack prisoner. Be safe. Okay, you're ready to protest at the square. Not messaging to stop you, obviously. Just be safe, you have a mask. At the supermarket yesterday, protest is non-violent, don't worry. Trust you. Why the protest? Isn't it scary to attend something like this? You've already been doing so much behind the scenes already. Got to make sure the common people are heard, and that includes making sure that people are being fairly incarcerated and justice is served. My responsibility as a citizen. Oh wow, okay, but please allow this one to be cute with you. I bet you find my rebelliousness hot. Sure, my rebel boyfriend. I like the sound of that. Is that what I am to you? Didn't you know me? Take responsibility for me. I'll collar you once you get back. Don't tease, Luna. Would you really? Well then get back safely here and claim your title, mister. I've nothing to say. Quintus is someone who has a wonderful relationship and independent life in his young adulthood, like many other citizens. It's mundane and beautiful in its normalcy. Say nothing. Chloe stands there miserably, dread leading her circuit, her stomach, unable to say anything about the life of this real person in front of her. His name is Quintus, he whose sins she doesn't really understand but has to witness to what happens next to him. Stop. Sir, how long have we been at this? 26 hours, sir. What has he given you? Nothing. Hiratang leans in, close enough to make out the details in the man's detached retina. Ah. He seems to be peering into his very soul. It didn't have to be this way. You could have cooperated. Instead, you've wasted my time, and my time is precious. You may not have given us what we wanted, but I assure you one of your co-conspirators will. Now that we know how much you're willing to endure, we won't be so easy on the next one. Inside of the forearm, between the ulna and the radius bones, is the radial artery. You, child, I want you to deliver his final salvation. Oh! Oh, we may as well overwrite the hack thing because it didn't give us anything we could change. I'm feeling vaguely nauseous. Also, my nose is cold. I don't want to do anything. I can't. This prisoner never even said anything this whole time. Their resistance of this prisoner before us only succeeded in bringing his allies even more pain. And you. Your resistance will damn this prisoner and his co-conspirators to worst fates. Surely we can all do better. This may seem cruel to you, but know that it is mercy, maybe not to him, but to our country. If we let him go, that man would spread his poison and rot our home from the inside. Double your efforts on the next one. Remember that image for the rest of your life. This is what protecting Nonoria looks like. Yes, but I was not directly contributing to it. Sirens passing outside paint the walls red and blue, breaking the silence and drawing everyone back to the moment at hand. So the terrorist threat, the lockdown, it's all a lie. Every word. They've been all over the news yelling about sensitive information being sold to enemies of the country, that the lockdown at Zircon Hill has been for everyone's safety. They're going to do everything they can to sell the lie. We can't let them get away with this, right? We won't. But we can't get ahead of ourselves. They've shown how far they're willing to go to keep this quiet. We need proof. More importantly, Rebecca needs Shad on arrest. I'm fine. Be kind. You have to take care of yourself. You don't have to put on a brave face for us, so you got your back. You need rest. Okay. But tomorrow we get to work. Deal. We should get out of your hair then. Call me if you need anything, okay? The door on the left's the bedroom. I'll take the couch. What are you even doing here, Chloe? What do you mean? I haven't seen you in 2 years. You live in another country. Not that I'm ungrateful, but you're the last face I expected to see in all of this. I thought you might be in trouble, Joaquin. That's what you would have done for me. It's just, this is dangerous, and if something happened to you because of me, we'll be fine. We've been through a lot together. Not like this. Then we'll figure it out. A complicated half-smile, half-grimace forms on Rebecca's tired face. There's no point arguing with Chloe once she's set her mind on something. The midday sun assaults Rebecca's eyes as she exits the bedroom. Her clothes have magically cleaned themselves of blood. She lives. She does. What time is it? 2ish? Shit. You needed it. You know, there's part of me that expected to wake up and find you being here was a dream. It's so weird to see you here like this. You're welcome. We're all weird here. A genuine chuckle escapes Rebecca's lips. Chloe could always get a laugh out of her, even in the toughest of times. But Rebecca tries to freeze away, and so Chloe takes a breath to head off a likely argument. I know you always worry about me, probably what you spend most of your adult life doing. But you know I can help you back now. This is so big. What Theo was assassinated for has such widespread implications. All the more reason I should be here. Don't do this as though you owe me. There's no debts between us. But remember how you taught me about being careful who I do favours for? I'm not just doing this to repay my debts of goodwill to you for all those years you raised me. I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. I want to be here for you. You're my best and oldest friend. Where else would I be? Also, I'm here on a work visa. You have to convince my boss to remove me from the region. You've gotten harder to argue with. Good. How are you feeling besides? Don't even know. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Oh God, I have to tell her parents. Shit. I'll come with you if you want. That's not going to be an easy conversation. No, it's not. How do I tell them that I let Sephora get taken? You can't think like that. If you'd gone after her, they would caught you too, and then where would you be? Yeah. Take your time. We'll go when you're ready. Don't know if I'll ever be ready, so it means we'll get it over with. The boys' parents welcome Rebecca and Chloe with open arms, completely unaware of the circumstances of their visit. Chloe takes in their luxurious surroundings, exactly what she expected from the home of parents of an international idol. Ooh, pretty. It's wonderful to see you, darling. Weather's been keeping, which is always nice. Ah, yeah. Who's your friend? Right, sorry, this is Chloe. We go way back. Lovely. Lovely to meet you, Chloe. I'm Shilin, and this is my wife, Takane. How are you? Oh, you know. Once they're seated in the living room, tension fills the air and the truth comes out. At first, Rebecca shakes with the force of repressing her emotions and tears until Sephora's parents surround her with pillows and blankets and quick hugs before giving her space to continue talking. Now that is not a good highlight on that particular background. It's a pleasant surprise to see Sephora's parents treat Rebecca with such familial warmth, but it also reminded Chloe of how much she hadn't known about Rebecca's life. With clenched hands and a stiff back, Rebecca keeps it together long enough to tell her story. Chloe knows the story well, but is glued to her friend nonetheless. Then, with the worst timing imaginable, the loud, awkward sound of Chloe's phone notification shatters the moment. I am so sorry, oh my god. Red-faced and mortified, Chloe rushes to turn the phone off, only to see an unexpected name on the caller ID. Hakeem. For Hakeem to call without a preemptive text is rare and a clear sign of the importance of whatever he has to say. Chloe does her best to play it cool, but Takane sees through the facade. It's okay if you'd have to take it. The guest bedroom's across the hall. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back. Chloe ducks into the guest bedroom. She can't help but feel better to remove herself from such an awkward situation. Furtively, she wonders if Rebecca's ever stayed in here and chastises herself mentally over her wandering thoughts as she answers the call. You haven't checked in since you landed. Is everything okay? Be professional. Nexia has been lying through their teeth. The entire situation in Zircon Hill is a smokescreen to cover up the assassination of a whistleblower as attempting to expose exploits within the Seraph biochip. Jesus, how did you come across this so quickly? Franz caught up in all of it. The whistleblower attempted to use Sephora's vocal activism as a means to amplify his message, but Nexia found them before they could move. They killed him and took her. I'm with Sephora's partner who's there during the raid. Are you safe? Where are you? It's okay. We're with Sephora's parents, trying to figure out next moves. Next moves? I mean, they took her girlfriend, they killed a man extrajudiciously, and they're lying about it, labeling them a terrorist to justify the lockdown. Please be careful. You know me. That's why I said it. Look, as far as horrifying as all this is, I have to update my own. Raylin Contreras Yang just landed at Abraxa International. The president's niece is here? Why? No idea, but after hearing what you told me, I wouldn't be surprised when we find out they're related. Keep your head down, okay, and keep me posted. You got it. With new information in hand, Chloe hands up the phone and does her best not to interrupt as she re-enters the living room. It seems Rebecca's story is concluded and there's a heavy silence in the room. If Shilin and Takane are scared for their daughter, it barely shows. They're a picture of stoicism. Chloe holds her breath for the fear of drawing attention to herself. I'm so sorry. Excuse me? For what happened if I had... Keep it. Listen to me. Sephora's a big girl. She knew what she was doing. She knew the risks, and if she were here right now, she'd tell you she'd do it again. I don't know what to do. What do you think Sephora would do if she were in your position right now? She'd fight. She'd do what she means to do, no matter what it takes. So there you go. The plan can still be the same, right? What do you mean? Your plan with Sephora, you were going to take everything to the press. The material we had is gone. All we have now is words. You were there. It's not just words. It's a first-hand account. Okay, we should go. There's a lot to figure out. I need to write a statement. We need to figure out where to do this. I think we can be of some help there. He's a high-level lawyer and member of the legislature, respectively. Shilin and Takane are well connected through the highest ranks of Abraxa, and are in no shortage of favours to cash in. A couple of phone calls and they're leading Chloe and Rebecca to the Artechny University, the Abraxan campus of the school Chloe attended years ago. This Artechny is every bit as lavish as Chloe remembers the Artechny Roundtree campus in Vasiva, though she's never stepped foot on these grounds. It all feels so familiar. They're there to meet Sidney Aldridge, both the Chancellor of the University and the father of Alden Aldridge, Chloe's ex-boyfriend. So, Alden's father, Sidney's the owner of the university, serious and intimidating. Alden, ex, attended the Roundtree campus together. He's working for Nexa now, although it seems like he's changed since I knew him. Okay. Oh yeah, we had one for Hero Time, which we never did. 58. Warmonger. Ugh. Shilin, lawyer. Takane. And then Alden is a socialite. And Sydney's right, okay. So we've still got our technique, which is university. We're also going finding Rebecca. Guilt and rest. And Thor's parents. President's niece. Okay, so we're in 1.8. I'm not going to actually save. Yeah, we're in 1.8. Because we haven't got a choice, but I wanted to just see how we're progressing. I'm curious how many acts there are. We're 2 and a bit hours in. I kind of want to finish the first act. I feel like I'm getting near the Artechnist bit that I need to do for the achievement. It'd be nice to get that. Sidney's has a long arm of influence in multiple sectors. His family law firm works closely with Shalene's firm on pro bono cases in human and civil rights. Chloe's only been back in Abraxas a couple of days, and she can already feel the gravitational pull of her old life taking hold. Given how she left things with Alden, she's not looking forward to this reunion. Takane, Shalene, how do you do? Busy, given the circumstances. Terribly sorry to hear of it. I assure you there's much to discuss. Raylene Contras Yang just landed in town. To help, or I need to get Raylene put in thingy tip for some reason. Senior politician. Her father's a dictator. She's more moderate. Okay. To help, or who can say, really? She's not been falling in line with the old guard in the capital for the last few years, but she's certainly never touched Abraxan soil. City of Abraxas. This is in Abraxas City. Oh no, right, okay. Prestige, don't bother me, face. Capital city. Clicky and enclaved. Not a coincidence then, surely. Pardon my manners, I don't mean to ignore the very reason we're here today. Rebecca, I presume. Thanks for seeing us on short notice. But of course, Shilene and I go ways back, don't we? Always happy to help a friend. She filled me in on the details. A press conference is an interesting strategy, I must say. Have to work with the tools I have. Quite right, there. We have a lecture hall we rent to guest speakers and book tours and the like. You're more than welcome to make use of it. No charge, of course. Sidney's pauses, finally noticing Chloe off to the side. His look of recognition causes Chloe to cringe, wanting to disappear inside herself. She's never been able to tell if his courtesy is genuine or polite front, that it changes anything. They need him. Chloe Lee, is that you? You, Mr. Aldridge. Can't even begin to imagine what you're doing here, but it's so good to see you. Reb's a good friend. I'm just here to offer moral support. That's great. Have you seen Alden? He's doing quite well for himself these days. I haven't, no. I wasn't even sure he was still in Abraxas. Working as a consultant at Nexia, yes, for a couple of years now. Of course Alden worked at Nexia. If he ever loved anything, it was the warm embrace of the status quo. Oh, good for him. I'm sure he's thriving. Chloe, can I talk to you for a second? Chloe recognises the glint in Rebecca's eyes. Plan is forming. The two get some distance from Sydney's. Sydney's, secure in being out of shot before she shares what's on her mind. Do you think you're up for seeing him? I'd rather not. Why? If it's too much, I'd rather not burden you. Well, now I'm just too curious. You have to tell me, or I might badger you. If he's working at Nexia, I might not know what's going on. If he does, you can get it out of him whether he wants to talk or not. And if he does, we can use it at the press conference. Exactly. Okay, for you I'll do it. Stay here and get whatever you need set up and I'll keep you posted. Thanks for doing this. I wish you didn't have to. Owe you big time for this. Again, you don't owe me anything. I'm doing this because I want to. Alden and I will eventually run into each other for setting up here, so I need to do this. I understand. It's just thank you all the same. Chloe and Torrance sit on a bench in Artechnist's quad. The hustle and bustle of students coming and going offers the perfect amount of anonymity for them. No one's paying attention to their movements or conversation. I appreciate you in including me. I don't have a lot of friends in Abraxas. I appreciate you agreeing to be here. What exactly am I doing here anyway? You kind of didn't get into that. So my ex works at Nexia. Oof. We dated in university. I haven't seen him in years. It didn't end well. I'll see if he knows anything about what's going on. Not knowing what he knows or how he feels about it, I can't be sure how this is going to go, and if it goes south, I might need backup. I'm going to need you to define backup. I'm not like a fighter or anything. No, nothing like that. If it came to it, I might need you to mislocate me so I can get away. How bad was your breakup? I don't think it'll come to that, but I've also learned the hard way that people can surprise you in the worst of ways, so I try to be cautious. They can surprise you in the best of ways too. Yeah, maybe. I'm gonna text him. How can you be so sure he'll come? I'm very enticing. Heat him in a Baraxa? Right, okay, so we're gonna save. Okay, so we are in Escalate with the Aldridges. So we want him to help us, so we're gonna be congenial. I have information about what's going on in Zircon Hill. Can you meet? Chloe, what the bloody hell are you doing in Abraxa? Meet me and I can catch you up. Who are you? Architectney near the Minerva lecture hall? Not far. I'll head over. And that's that. I'm going to meet him out front of the lecture hall. Be congenial to Alden. Was that the one I needed? No, capable canvasser is the one I need. Make strides at our technique. Sorry, I'm just having a look at another person who has played, I think, a full playthrough to see what order things. So, yeah. I feel like Cut Your Teeth and the Find Rebecca one are like story related, and everything else after that depends on what you're doing. But I think we're a little bit away from the one I need. But that's just because I'm taking time to read everything. Yeah. So I'm just having a look at some other people's. I feel like there's some related bits, so Raylan is coming up. But anyway. Right, I don't want to get distracted by looking at achievement lists, but I thought I'd just have a look, see. Probably, the thing is that I kind of don't want to go too late, so another half an hour and we'll see where we're at. And that's that. I'm going to meet him right in front of the lecture hall we came out of, so you have line of sight on us. If something goes wrong, God raise my right hand. But it won't come to that, right? No, of course not. Probably. Before long, Chloe spots Alden on the horizon, heading straight for her. Even after all this time, even among the countless students, she would recognize his swagger anywhere. Alden Aldridge walks into every room like he owns it. His grandparents founded Artechney University, so in this case, it's far cry from the truth. Chloe Lee in the flesh. Afternoon, Mr. Aldridge. I can't even begin to imagine what you're doing here, or how you got involved in all of this. Alden is quick to grill Chloe for information. Is he eager to help, or is he looking for holes in their cover-up? Chloe can't trust him to tell her the truth, so there's only one way to find out for sure. Would you believe it's kind of by accident? No joking, okay? What do you know? Right. This, I feel, could go very badly. So we'll have a... Okay. So... Ooh, conspiracy. My ex, a consultant and a socialite. That is definitely a fashion choice, that jacket. I'm going straight for conspiracy. We're not going to do any actions until we read the stuff first. Okay, who's calling the shots at Nexa? Audio transcript from bombastic populace. Investments in Lenora remain contentious part of national policy making. Today we're here at Meteor Critical Podcast to discuss the far reach of capital influence. And we can't ignore the fact that the capital invested in Nexa 3 years ago. Timing of their involvement directly correlates with an increase in secrecy, military prioritization, and more capital-adjacent behaviour. I think it's pretty clear who's running the shots over there, don't you? They can tell us it's a strictly financial relationship, but that's a load of crap, and we all know it. Hiratang? Has been flying back and forth to Abraxa for the last 2 years for what? To check up on their investment? Give me a break, man. That dude is making plays. The call's coming from inside the house. And you'd have to think if there was in fact a terrorist threat that their face would be spread over every screen and sheet of paper from here to Versivia. I personally find the whole thing strange, but what really gets me... Okay. Felden is resorting to listening to podcast theory, a conspiracy theory podcast, and must be serious about getting to the bottom of this one way or the other. He's never taken people like this seriously before, but now they're worried he's getting his information. Ooh, there's a bit of a cut-off there. Okay. Ask about changes, question his station. Okay, we're not going to do that yet. Alden doesn't know anything beyond the official story. He's been reaching out to others within the company and getting stonewalled every turn. They know this is bad, so they're hiding it from their own people. That fear makes them vulnerable. Okay? Alden's been asking around. Okay. Re-internal your inquiry. Head of the public. Thank you for your inquiry, Mr. Aldridge, but you need not concern yourselves with these matters. Rest assured, being consulted with the appropriate experts and concluded that moving forward without publicly identifying the suspect is in everyone's best interest. You're a valued member of our consulting team and look forward to strategizing with you on our next social media campaign. Okay, not even Alden's been able to get more information about Nexa. If they're keeping details away from even their own people, there's been more that we're not seeing. It shows how little they think of Alden to dismiss him like that. Social media campaign. Ouch, that must hurt his ego. So I'm going to go straight into empathize. Maybe. Hang on. We've also got a new one. Embarrassing flirt. So still not done your economics paper, hey girl, or want to reconcile the division of labour together? If you quote Adam Smith's economic philosophy to me in bed, I might just kick you out. Would you prefer hops? Can you handle this Leviathan? So many nasty British thought and short jokes I can make about right now. It's embarrassing to say the least. Why is Adam thinking about that? Alden thinking about that now of all times. Isn't he glutton for punishment? I shouldn't go down this rabbit hole. Maybe I could stop hacking him and just gauge his current philosophy. Tease him a little, see if he's not setting off any red flags. It's tempting. But Rebecca sent me out here with a job and not just to have a social course, so hacking actual intel and questioning her about it is the best way I can ascertain if Alan's got a more crafty and slippery, like typical rich hypocrites. There's no way I can just have a normal conversation with this dude, right? I want to start with empathize with being ignored. I think if they brought you on as a consultant, they would know, consult you. It can't be easy realizing that they don't quite have the opinion of you that you thought they did. No, it bloody well isn't. I knew when I signed up for this job that their main interest is my social capital. Being cast aside when something serious happens is a load of bollocks. Did they tell you anything at all? Not a word. I'm not just a senior consultant, Chloe. I'm on the bloody board and I still can't get answers. It's unheard of, and I know it means something's up. London always has a sore spot for people not taking him seriously, and this seems to have really hit him close to home. If he's on the board and still being kept in the dark, what does that mean? Are you capable of normal conversation anymore, or do you start every interaction by invading someone's privacy? I didn't have to meet you, Doesn't that buy me a little goodwill? A little, but not enough for me to be sure what side you're on. You could bloody well ask. That's the only way I know to be certain. That's healthy. I mean, please just talk like adults. If you don't like what I've got to say, have at it. But my word, Chloe, a little benefit of the doubt, please. Game cannot be safe while Chloe is hacking. Okay, fine. We want him to give us information, and we don't want to pee him off at this point, so let's just agree to talk. Okay, you're right. You deserve a little credit for showing up. You're so charitable. So what do you know? Not nearly as much as I should, let me tell you. They really tell me nothing. I've tried talking to some other board members and they all seem as clueless as I am. Tried talking to employees on the ground level and they're too afraid to say anything. The only concrete information I've been able to find is that infrastructure's been having their budget siphoned and these dollars are finding their way to the military security division. Why do you think Nexus mercenaries need an influx of cash all of a sudden? There's been no increased demand for equipment, no big clients or private security forces which can justify a hiring rush, no changes to policing in the last 5 years, it all smells off. If they're not reacting to something, they're predicting it. What do they know that we don't? Why are you working with them at all? They're monsters, Alden. They're not monsters, they're just a Leviathan, a highly organised entity with lots of moving parts and infrastructures that people rely on. Nexa is a good company being corrupted by bad people. I want to see Nexa live up to its potential, not become a name people fear. The hell, Eden? The idea of a Leviathan is an historical justification of absolute sovereign of a commonwealth by social contract. Nexia is a private conglomerate. Sure hope these two organisational structures aren't indistinguishable from each other. Sounds like justifiably there's always been people afraid of Nexa. My port stands. I'm trying to change the company for the better. If walk away because of what's happening, keeps up that fight. Maybe you need to reevaluate if it's worth fighting? We'll see. Have you heard of anything that could explain any of this? I think I have a few things that would be of interest. As Chloe shares the details of the last few days, Alden's expression warps from concern to horror. It's obvious to Chloe that whatever he was expecting to hear, it wasn't this. This is so much worse than I imagined. How can they think they'll get away with this? We can't let them. We have to do something. Well, I'm here. I want to help. I'll hold you to that. Also, since you're here... Chloe watches Alden's expression changes. The tension leaving his brow, his shoulders drooping. I'm sorry. You don't have to say anything, I just need you to say it. This trip has always been full of surprises, but even then Chloe didn't expect getting closure for a past relationship would make the list. As he strides off into the distance, Chloe nods at Torrent to show that things went well. Okay. They meander back to the hall to reconvene with Rebecca. As Chloe walks in comfortable silence, she can't help but play a conversation with Alden over in her head. His earnestness was surprising. The Alden she knew in university rarely cared to get involved in the affairs of others, nor was he good at owning up to his mistakes. She has to admit. I mean, we'll save, but... that jacket... He's matured. The Alden she knew in university wouldn't be sticking his neck out to hunt down the truth. He always had trouble concerning himself with matters that didn't directly impact him. Maybe he's really capable of change after all. They arrive back at the lecture hall. Rebecca already has things in full swing. Chloe notices not just Su Li, but also Waylon and Namxiang as well. Who is that? Student leader. I thought they were holding a cat. It's not. They just got really weirdly balloony sleeves. Student leader and Waylon's partner. They seem cool-headed and even-tempered. Nice. Excuse me. Hey, them. Gotcha. Hey, Waylon. Waylon walks away as if he didn't notice Chloe in the room, leaving her perplexed. So, you're Chloe then? I'm Namxiang. Waylon told me about what happened at Zircon Hill. He's, as you can tell, not thrilled. Funny how brazen violations of free will can do that to someone, right? I didn't mean... What you did was pretty messed up, Chloe. Messing with someone's brain like that, that's literally what you're here to talk to Nexa about doing. Maybe think about that next time. Well, if you put it like that, now I feel guilty. That said, thank you for intervening. My boyfriend is many things, but for one thing he is not. Without you, he'd probably be in jail right now. Waylon will come around. He just likes to hold a grudge for a minute. Well, I appreciate that, I guess. How are you doing in all this? About as well as can be expected, I suppose. Campus is tense with the lockdown and whatnot. No one here likes the capital except, well, those who think they can get money and prestige from them. The idea that things are turning in that direction is making everyone uneasy. Well, don't you have your finger on the pulse? The student union leaders should, shouldn't they? Good point. I'm going to make sure Waylon's brooding peacefully, but we'll catch you around. Sure thing. You'll make friends fast? That's news to me. Your name's already on a lot of lips. Not sure how to feel about that, to be honest. I get that. Not all attention is positive attention. No, it's not. You okay? We haven't really spoken much since Zircon Hill. You feel guilty? You haven't done anything wrong? Am I still in tooltip mode, or I've just got the tooltips stuck on? I mean, I feel like by leaving Zircon Hill while it's under lockdown, I don't know, abandoned them or something. Just to keep myself busy and distracted. Put it out of my mind, you know. I can't help them, but I can help Rebecca, and that needs to be good enough for now. Helping Rebecca is helping them. What did you tell Rebecca when she was feeling bad in the... There we go. Apartment yesterday? Yeah, you're right. Thanks. It's clear Sully puts a lot of pressure on herself. As a coordinator at Heaven Court Community Centre in Zircon Hill, she's used to being there for the members of the community. Why not both? We're going for a, not horny playthrough. I really respect that. Chloe has a lot of respect for the work Sully puts in. She's confident and motivated, traits Chloe admires. Many speak of change, but Sully is working towards it. With no pressing matters to tend for the moment, Chloe sets off to find Rebecca. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get to the bloop. Walking into the back, Chloe finds Rebecca mumbling to herself, hunched over with a pen in hand. She doesn't even notice Chloe. You okay? Oh, hey. Yeah, I'm good. Fine. Dealing. Well, I'm convinced. Guess I'll just leave you to it then. Nothing to see here. How does one person get to be so funny? Dedication to the craft. How did you make out with Alden? Good. Said he wants to help. No, I mean, were you standing up, sitting down? Was there romantic music? What? Huh? Ab. Rebecca doubles over laughing, clearly impressed with herself. Your face is so red. I love it. I hate you. Love you too, girl. As I was saying, yes, very seriously saying, please continue. I wasn't sure if I could trust him, so I hacked him to find out what he knew. It didn't really end up being necessary, though. He was basically forthcoming. Maybe you need to take less of a shoot first, ask questions later approach. If Alden's on our side, you risk pushing him away by not giving him the chance to prove himself. It was the only way to be sure. If he wasn't on our side, he'd lied and manipulated the conversation in his fever, maybe even tricked me into giving up information he could use against us. Alden Aldridge. Same Alden Aldridge that literally cried when his GPA dipped below 4.0. He was stressed out about a lot of things. It wasn't just the GPA, and now that I'm talking, I see your point. What did the world's most dangerous man have to say? He's been pushing for answers from the Nexia and getting nothings for his efforts. They're feeding the official statement to their own people. That tracks. The less they know, the less potential for leaks. I also learned they've been defunding different departments in the company to funnel more cash into the military division. That seems like they're ramping up to something. That's worrisome, so we stuck it next to everything we know about what's going on with the Seraph biochip. Agreed. So it's likely that the exploit Theo risked his life to reveal wasn't an exploit or a bug at all. It was a design feature, deliberate, purposeful. And knowing what we do about ahead of time, don't like where any of this is leading. Agreed. Here's hoping we can do something about it. Speaking of, what you working on? My statement was scheduled for tomorrow morning. How's it going so far? Be kind to myself and say less than ideal. Oh, you wouldn't want to help me, would you? Are you back in university? Do you need help with the term paper again? Okay, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, basically, yes, exactly that. I guess I could be convinced. What do you have so far? Tone is something I'm struggling with a lot. I've already written a couple of versions of the opening and I don't know what direction to take it. Let's hear it. Okay, this one is, I guess, more like playing politics, if you know what I mean. There is a terrorist at large. The lockdown is for your own safety. We have your best interests at heart. These are the lies Nexia has been repeating for days. Lies we want to believe because the alternative is too horrible to imagine. That the forces we trust to protect us do not, in fact, prioritize our protection at all. Strong. I like it. What's the other direction you were thinking? Just give them hell. I'm listening. You know what? It might be too much. Never mind. Don't second guess yourself. Let me hear it. Okay, but be gentle, okay? Nexa has been lying to us. They want us to believe the terrorist threat is at large. They want us to believe the lockdown is for our own good. They want us to believe they're acting in our best interests. The truth is that Nexa is violating the trust we put in them and must pay for their actions. Oh, wow. It's bad, right? No, it's right for the jugular. I like it, actually. Can't use both, though. I have to make a choice. Thoughts? 1.9. Does it go from 1.9 to 2? That's what I want to find. I say give them hell. I say give them hell. Let them know right out of the gate you mean business. Hell yeah, that was my first instinct, but I hesitated. I'm glad you agree. What's next? Lay out the details. The chip, everything. I can be either straightforward and factual about it or really lay into the fact that what they're doing is evil. Oh, okay. Facts first. Facts first and foremost. You want to get your point across in a way people can digest. You make them feel defensive too soon, you'll lose them. Good point. I need them to listen. If they turn it off, I'm wasting my breath. Next is the proof. Telling Theo's story. I'm nervous about this part. It feels like a big responsibility. He died right in front of me. I can try and remove my emotions from the equation and just tell them what I know. I can really lean into how he tried to do the right thing and Nexa had him killed for it. No. It's a balance of give him hell, give the facts, lean into emotion. Don't be afraid to lean into the emotion. This is all such a mess. Of course you're upset. They killed a man in front of you. If that didn't make you emotional, they think you were a robot. Yeah, you have a point. I'm just worried about, I don't know, people thinking I'm overcompensating somehow. A man is dead. I don't know how you can possibly overcompensate when talking about that. I'm glad I have you here. I'd keep second guessing myself and I'd still have a blank page in the morning. Okay, we're almost done. Now I want to talk about the raid and what happened to us. I also need to talk about Sephora. Do I try to stay buttoned up or do I let them have it? Let them have it. This is about more than just you, but it's still about you. I don't think you should shy away from how that feels or how wrong that is. I'm a little worried about being able to keep it together during this point, I'm not going to lie. No matter how you react to it, it'll be genuine emotion and people will see that. Lastly, I can end with a call to action to bring people together to hold Nexa accountable, or dig my heels in and call for Nexa to be punished. No, bring people together. A call to bring people together really puts the focus on how this impacts everyone, and that we need people to stand against it. You can't let them think they can stand by while someone else fixes this. You're right. This is about the future of Abraxa, and it's going to take as much of Abraxa as possible to do something about this. Okay, done. The tone bounces around a bit, but I think we lean in when we need to. I feel good about this. You should probably get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a long day. Oh boy. The next day, preparations are complete and the press begin to arrive. Chloe steels herself on the Techniquad, trying to gain some semblance of calm. We're starting soon. You okay? I'm nervous. I'm nervous? Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. Rebecca's freaking out and I need someone to deal with that. I'm on it. Are you sure you're up for it? I got it. Heading back towards the hall, Chloe notices a garden. She stops, taking them in a moment. These are just like the wildflowers we used to keep in our childhood. Chloe leans down and gently plucks one from the garden, careful not to disturb the flowers around it. Tucking it safely within her jacket, she continues towards the hall. Entering the back room, Chloe sees Rebecca pacing forth, her eyes on her written statement. You okay? No, I'm up in like 10 minutes. I'm going cross-eyed. What if I screw up? You're going to be great. What if people think I'm all over the place and don't know what I'm doing? You can't control how people perceive you, only how you present yourself. You worked hard on this speech. Trust in yourself. Chloe reveals the flower to Rebecca, who recognizes it immediately. Chloe steps forward, placing the flower in Rebecca's hair, just as Rebecca had just once done for her. You are the most badass woman I know. You've got this. Without a word, Rebecca embraces Chloe in a tight hug. Can't believe you remember the stupid flower. You're right. It's weird of me to remember the symbolic gesture you made the time we ran away from home with the most nerve-wracking hack to start new lives. Shut up. Rebecca laughs as she wipes tears from her eyes. I've got this. Hell yeah, you do. With that, Rebecca turns on her heel and heads through the curtain to face the waiting press. Chloe walks around to watch from the back of the room as Rebecca takes her place behind the podium. Nexia has been lying to us. They want us to believe a terrorist threat is at large. They want us to believe the lockdown is for our own good. They want us to believe they're acting in our best interests. The truth is that Nexia is violating the truth we put in them. They must pay for their actions. The truth is that Nexia no longer, if it ever did, serves us. The terrorist threat they've been so vocally concerned about was not only not a terrorist, but was in fact a concerned citizen who'd uncovered proof of Nexia's true intentions with the Seraph biochip. Deliberately placed exploits allow the company to read your vitals, capture memories, and quite literally control your emotions by manipulating the release of chemicals such as dopamine, adrenaline, serotonin, and others. This is an unprecedented attack on individual agency, privacy, and common decency. Theodore Vans was an engineer on Nexia's Seraph biochip project. No different than you and I, he would go to work every day. He liked going to the movies, he paid his taxes. When he discovered a series of exploits that allowed Nexia much greater control and access than they ever admitted to having, he naively believed this was an error to be corrected, and reported them to his superiors who ignored him. Knowing the evil that could be enacted through these exploits, Theo contacted Sephora and I. Theo could have been any one of us. We all want to believe we did the right thing when presented with the option, but few of us ever find ourselves in such a situation. When we met with Theo, we had proof of Nexia's blatant disregard for Braxton civilians. I saw code samples, hardware breakdowns, and more. We had no choice but to help Theo, but before we had the chance to do so, Nexia hunted him down and killed him like he was a rabid dog right in front of me. No charges, no trial. There's no other way to describe it than to call it what it was. Murder. Murder to protect their own interests, murder to protect their corruption and moral bankruptcy. I'm sure you've noticed Sephora's absence from today's proceedings, and that's because during their raid, Nexia knocked her unconscious and kidnapped her. I do not know where she is. I cannot account for her safety. It killed me to run away, but if I'd stayed, they would have taken me too, or worse. In light of these revelations, I'm calling on Nexia to end the lockdown and oppression of Zircon Hill and release Sephora, who is guilty of no crimes and is being held unlawfully. I'm also calling on you, Abraxa, each and every one of you. Nexia operates in our city unchecked, and it's time that we together put their feet to the fire. We must speak as one when we demand Nexia submit themselves and their practices to a third-party investigation. Nexia have proven they cannot be trusted to conduct themselves ethically on their own, so it falls to us, the average Abraxans, to ensure they do. Nexia must answer for their actions, and steps must be taken to ensure that something that this horrific never happens again. I will now take your questions. With that, the room explodes into a cacophony of voices, each desperate to have their questions rise above the rest. Chloe smiles to herself, proud of her friends. In the wake of the media frenzy caused by Rebecca's public statement, the gang follow Rebecca to Creative Arts Beats, Sephora's talent agency. Approaching the building, they're shocked to find a gathering of supporters outside. Some carry signs reading Free Sephora and Justice for Sephora. Upon seeing Rebecca, they erupt in cheers and cries of support. That didn't take long. Sephora's fans are nothing if not efficient. Love you, Sephora Manager Becca. We'll get Sephora back. Oh, hell, we're going to encourage their support, but we're also just taking a... We are now in Act 2. Okay. 2.1 Raeline's test. I feel like that's probably a good spot to stop. I'm still a little bit from where I can get my achievement. But if you enjoyed this game and want to find out where this is going, then you should consider buying it. It is £16.74 or $19.99 on Xbox, and it's also available on Steam. So I'm just going to get the credits up. It's an ID at Xbox game. Oh, that is a very fast scrolly thing. Developed and published by Vivid Foundry. who is these people here. Who are Canadian. There we go, Vivid Foundry. This is an ID at Xbox game, and thank you to ID at Xbox for the code for streaming this. It's very cool. I really like the art. And just the whole game style. So I'm going to play more of that offline, off stream. Because I can't play all of the games that I want to keep continuing on stream. I end up with no time to do any new games, and we need to make sure we get some new games in. So I'm hoping to be able to stream this weekend. The plan is to do at least one stream this weekend. Maybe we'll revisit one of those games that we said that we'll play. Or maybe if we play a little more of this, then we'll have a new RTGL. We will see. We will see. We will have to see how it goes, basically. But yeah, that was Solace State. Solace State. I'm fairly certain a pun on Solid State, not Solid Snake. Or maybe a bit both. It's a very cool biohacking game. A little bit out of the ordinary for a visual novel. Lots of different variables and factors going on there, different relationships to maintain. Your actions do have consequences, which is always nice. So it must be a very complicated decision tree going on behind that. But yeah, we played a good, just under 3 hours. So hopefully everyone enjoyed that. I hope to see you all soon. Hopefully settle down to a slightly more regular streaming schedule. Yeah. Alright, well, I've been Jo, otherwise known as Injutless Kate. I will catch you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.